Hello and welcome back to part 3 of my matchup chart. This section will be covering the Brawl characters, because obviously everybody's favourite game in the series is Brawl. I'm actually really excited to play a Brawl regen. That'll be actually quite fun. I'm playing Olimar, of course, because I play Olimar, but it's going to be interesting because I was sort of at the time where I played Brawl, but not competitively because I was like mid-teens, like 14, 15, 16, and I'm not even too sure if there was a Brawl scene in the south of the United Kingdom, but I wasn't looking it up. Um, but yeah, I'll play Olimar. I'll see how it goes. But some of the stuff on like Brawl alternative stuff is so funny. Brings brings out memories. And memories bring back you. But something we definitely should not remember is Brawl Meta Knight. And we should not be remembering him here. It's not a great matchup for Simon. It's kind of everything you hate. Not everything you hate in the character, but it's not great for us. Very good edge guarding, obviously. Ladders are quite easy to hit on us. Um, he's fast on the ground, which is annoying, but he's slow in the air, which is good for us. Um, and down B and his recovery mix-ups can help him get past the ledge, which is annoying. But overall, it's not the worst matchup. It's not as bad as you'd think. You should be thinking with all of these things he should be in a counter pick tier, but no, it is generally like just doable because he's so linear and neutral. Um, yeah, neutral just boils down to sort of like stopping his dash grab, dash attack mini game really. And when you can do that just fine, you can use cross at longer ranges. Don't do it at shorter ranges because if he can react to the cross and use down B, and he should be able to just punish you for that if he predicts you doing that. But yeah, whip is annoying for him because he just can't close the distance, and things like cross and holy water controlling the ground makes it really annoying for him to get in. And then when he jumps, it's not the easiest thing for him to sort of do because he's slow in the air and his moves are kind of safe if spaced, but he's in the air for so long you can start thinking about challenging him or just not letting him land on you with moves really. So neutral for him is it's kind of annoying for him. It's kind of a struggle to get in if you just play super campy. And obviously you can sort of even platform camp if you want. And you can just avoid dash attack and dash grab altogether. So he has to just go for start raw up airing. Obviously, if he does raw up air you, you need to mash SDI as fast as you can. Excuse me. Up and in or up and away, you need to mix up between both. Do not let him ladder you for free. Just don't let him ladder you for free. They'll typically try and end it vertically, horizontally, sorry, rather than vertically, because it will set up for an edge guard. If they can get the up B and it'll kill, they'll go for that. But some of them will like wait for an air dodge and then they'll use like drill rush, or they'll try and end it off with tornado because then they can land back on stage and try and edge guard you. And his edge guarding, like I said, is pretty good. He's got six jumps, can stay out there forever and ever and ever and ever. Um, but yeah, once you get hit, you just need to pick a prey in SDI. Once you're above sort of like 50%, 60%, you're not too bad actually. You're kind of sitting pretty. It becomes a lot harder for him to sort of edge guard you, um, because you don't get sent as far because his moves just don't explode you into the blast zone. But yeah, mostly it's just the edge guarding and the ladders that are the problem. But everything else is fine. Neutral's not too bad, like I discussed. Um, and yeah, it's annoying to ledge trap him because the dimensional cape. If you overcommit, he can use dimensional cape and either hit you or sneak past. But as long as you remain like low commitment and you don't overextend and you just wait for it, you can just punish him for using dimensional cape. It's not a get out of jail free card for him. um, so yeah, kind of a losing matchup, but not too terrible actually. It's amongst the easier ones, I would say, comparing to the better characters. And I think that's just a problem Meta Knight has in general. Like he's got that one thing that goes for him, he's the ladders, the edge guarding, but outside of that, he's just not a great character. So once you get to like 190, 100%, you can kind of like struggle to kill you. And if you just play super campy and you just like really lame him out, he can be really difficult for him to get in and start anything. But then again, all he needs is that one opportunity to get in, before he can do his stuff. So yeah, losing, but not too bad. Not really any sort of matchup specific tricks really. Ledge, if he chooses to use up B to get to ledge, you can two frame that with holy water or folding holy water or axe. Um, yeah, just watch out for down tilt sending into tech chase really. Um, if you are ever sent into tech chase as Simon or Belmont or Richter, I would always DI up and then mash up air because it'll auto cancel. It's got the best auto cancelable frames, and you can A land and then you can immediately act. Things like Fox's forward tilt or down tilts from like Lucina and Marth or Roy. If you DI up and then mash up tilt, depending on the percentages, you will just auto cancel up air. And then you can just act immediately and either like down tilt or grab or up B, and these characters will just not be aware. You see Light do it all the time with Fox, where he just A lands, where he uses I don't know what Fox's auto cancel move is. I'm just going to say up air because I can. Um, yeah, he'll A land against those moves and then just immediately do something, and they'll be like, "What on earth happened?" Yeah, Simon and Richter could do the same. You just hold up instead of down and away on tech chase moves, and then you A land with up air, and then you just immediately actionable. And you can go from there really, and that applies for most moves. You know, Kirby forward tilt, Donkey Kong forward tilt, these goofy people and their down tilts. So yeah, that's that really. Um, Nothing else to say. It's just a straightforward game. Camp him out, wall him out, be super lame, and don't get hit and don't get edge guarded. Um, so yeah. Next up, Pit, Dark Pit. P. There's P. Even. I'll put Dark Pit because they're pretty much the same character. I'll get the elephant. There's not an elephant in the room. I'll get the differences out of the room. Side B and neutral B. Pit's arrows are better for edge guarding. Shock, shock. To no one's horror. And then side B is Dark Pit. Side B is worse because it sends further out and at a harsher angle. Which sometimes you just get edge guarded and there's nothing you could do. But Pit's arrows overall just make up for that. So if you're deciding on the matchup who to play, if you think you can land a side B at 80 and 90 consistently, pick Dark Pit. For everything else, just pick Pit. But yeah, probably Pit is the worst of the two. But again, it just depends on how many side Bs you land, really. So yeah. Now that that's out the way, matchup is kind of even. The key with this matchup is just surviving low and mid percents because that's when the problem is because you get comboed and then you get dragged off stage. Apart from that, once you hit those mid percents, 50, 60, they start losing the ability to do that and then they just knock you off stage with one move, and that's it. Like they get down tilt forward air, down tilt back air, down tilt neutral air, down throw neutral air, forward air, those sorts of things. They land you off stage. But more often than not, as long as you're in the center of stage, that's not too bad. And, you know, it goes without saying that for every single matchup in the game, stage control is the most important thing for Simon and Richter. You want to be in the middle of the stage all the time. If you get hit at the edge of the stage, you're going to die sooner because you're not going to be able to recover, and you're going to be more susceptible to edge guards. And then, of course, if you're in the middle of the stage, you can use your greater weight to survive longer, lowers your chances of edge guarding, lowers your chances of everything else. So, yeah, as long as you stay in the middle of the stage and get hit by Pit and Dark Pit, you're not too bad, because they can kind of not struggle to kill, but it's not easy for them to take a stock in the middle of the stage, um, unless they get a Randy Pit upper dash arm. Um, but yeah, low percent is annoying because they can string together quite a decent string of combinations, um, which end up A, dealing a lot of damage, and then B, carrying you towards the edge of the stage. And when they carried you to the edge of the stage, that's when the finisher sends you off stage and for a nice edge guard. And you know, edge guarding for them is quite easy. Um, if you want to, you can stay on stage, Pit's arrows, and you can harass, because all you have to do is tap them once and they're dead. But you can down air those Pit arrows. Remember the time when Shoot On dared a Pikmin? You can down air Pit arrows as well. Um, they shouldn't be ever be able to position them so that you can do that, but it's just worth noting that if you've got a jump, you should always save as much as you can, and they fire an arrow and you're in the position, you can always just like jump and bounce on it and then instantly recover the ledge, and then there's nothing you can do. So yeah, absolutely, you can down air Pit arrows, but obviously the harder thing is when they jump off stage with an arrow, because that will force a jump or an air dodge, and then they can just neutral air or forward air and cover your option, and you can die from there. Um, but yeah, at higher percents is not too bad, because if you're in the middle of the stage and they send you off, they typically haven't got time to run over there and then mess with you, because cross will stop them, and then you can just mix up tethers or going high with up B and those sorts of things to avoid the edge guard. Um, so yeah, neutral wise, again, you sort of want to make sure that they're not getting in on the ground. Um, Most of their good combo starters come from things like down tilt, and grabs, down throw, rising neutral airs. Um, Not too many falling neutral airs, because that's easier for you to stuff out. Because obviously you just have the range to do it. Um, so yeah, you want to make them jump, because again, them being on the ground, that's just where all their good combo starters are. So again, play safely, space forward airs, space F tilts, space back airs. Make sure that they don't get in. YOLO dash grabs as you bait them to shield. You can run up if they jump, and they're not going to rise with an aerial normally, so you can intercept them with a quick neutral air or a jump back forward air, jump back air, and then start pressure. Once they're in the corner, it can be tough for them to get out, because they haven't got too many great options. Like, you know, their only burst option is side B on the ground, which which is very risky for them to do, and has a lot of startup for it as well. Um, so yeah, but once they're in the corner, they can struggle to sort of get out, because if they jump, then they're slow in the air, and they'll probably try and use Guardian Orbitars to land. And if you commit to baiting the Guardian Orbitars by like throwing projectiles, like a long cross, for example, as they're just about to land, you can throw a long cross, and they'll be like, "Oh, he threw a projectile. I'm going to down B," and then you can just run up and grab them for it, because they're expecting the cross to come back and reflect the cross. Um, and then obviously you can forward air or back air them as they land. If you just short hop back air, angle it up in that sort of area, and then you fast fall, um, you're auto cancelable, and then they still have to land. So then you can either try and F tilt the orbitars to potentially break them if it's taken a little bit damage before, or you can just wait and see what they do out of the Guardian Orbitars. And again, if they shield, you should be in a like Tipper F tilt range, where again they've got to make a play to get out of the corner. You can just forward tilt their shield, see what they do, and again that you can go after that, and see what they do after that. Typically, pits will jump, so if you get the jump call out, you can F tilt and then just like turn around upper angled back air, and that can kill, and that'd be very scary. But if they're not kill percent, just and forward air, but just be very careful that you're calling out the jump and not just doing it willy nilly, because then that can allow them to get out the corner. Just patience. Just a lot of the play in the corner with Simon is just like F tilting shield and just seeing what they do, reacting to what they do. Um, so yeah, like I said, neutral. Again, make them jump off stage. They're not too. Their recovery goes long, but it's very susceptible to two framing, because they got no hitbox on it. If you really wanted to, you could just like run off a neutral air, and then you can just like get a lot of damage that way, because again, it's just so interruptible. Again, falling holy water off ledge just leads into down air, for a free stock if you're good at getting the spacing, which I'm not, but that's a free stock. And again, axe, if you can time it, axe is a nice two frame, and that can lead into forward smash or forward air for another kill, a very early kill. But yeah, again, like I said, with this matchup, it's surviving the low mid percent combos that drag you off stage. After that, it's not too bad, because they can kind of struggle to kill. Even things like down tilt up air isn't too bad, because you're kind of a heavy, and we've got high gravity, so it's difficult for them to kill us off the top. And if they want to commit to juggling with with up air, sorry, you can just fast fall straight through that and air dodge. Again, very baitable, very punishable if you do it. But if they commit and they go like for full hop distance, you can fall straight through it. You sink like a stone, and then you can start trapping landings. But yeah, if they've shown that they're willing to use down B, just try not to use projectiles as much. Use them less. Use them more sparingly. Um, and that I would give that opinion for every character who's got a reflector. If they show that they want to use reflector, don't use projectiles, because obviously they'll just keep reflecting them unless you want to. You have to bait them. And again, you can bait pit and dark pit if you throw like short cross, and they guardian orbitars it. You can, depending on the spacing, you can jump over it and potentially get a down angled forward air, or get some stage control back from that. So that's always worth keeping in mind, that using reflectors not as a means to hit them, but as a means to bait them and get stage control or potentially a punish, is a good idea. But apart from that, yeah, just avoid their grounded starting combos, um, and make them go in the air, and that's about it really for these characters. So yeah. Okay, our next character is Zero Suit Samus. Where is she? Oh yeah, counterpick. ZSS, very annoying for Simon and Richter. Yeah, absolute pain. Very, very fast character, very mobile character. Zaire outranges whips, which is annoying. So she can kind of play this poking game, and then when she plays this poking game and hits something, she can convert it into even a middling amount of damage is annoying, because then she gets stage control. And then when you've got to get out of the corner, it can be difficult, because she can just like poke you with retreating Zares. Neutral air is safe on shield if spaced. Just jumps around, just plays really hard to hit. Flip kick ignores ledge trapping, and ignores corner pressure. You can call it out, and it can be punishing for them, but yeah, if the Zero Suit Samus player doesn't want to get hit, and they don't want to engage, and they don't want to bother getting hit, then you can't hit them. Their crouch is super annoying. I know it low profiles forward tilt, but I don't think it low profiles cross, which is thankfully. But yeah, they can just play very whiff punishy, very bait and punishy, and they can get a lot of reward and mileage off of that because their combos are so devastating. Her juggles are really good. Her edge guarding is not too spectacular, but run off forward air, or run off plasma whip side B is really annoying. Boost kick kills earlier than you think it would on a heavy. Um, and then obviously she's just got like great closing potential at those middle stocks with like Nair flip kick or down smash up B, if it connects. I still think that move should get a bigger hitbox because that is kind of criminal. Um, but yeah, and it doesn't even matter that her grab game is non-existent because she doesn't have to actually grab you. She can just keep poking at you. Um, so yeah, very annoying game. Very annoying character to fight. Very annoying character to hit, to trap, to combo into. Um, so yeah, neutral wise, again, is she can play as campy as she wants. Really, she can play as non-engaging as she wants. She can do short hop retreating there. And that will just keep poking at your shield. And don't forget, she's got frame advantage on that. If you're in neutral and you're just standing at about forward tilt range apart, she can just short hop ever so slightly backwards and use there. And well, you can't approach that because, well, it doesn't matter. You can't outrange it. You can't even forward air out of shield because she's frame positive on. I don't think she's frame positive on shield with it. But she's um, definitely like far enough away that she just does not care about your punish. And then it's just a game of like she just she just uh she just chips you down, and then she gets these big punishes, and then you just end up like what you just end up at 90, and I don't know why. Well, it's minus 2 on shield. Um so yeah, basically plus on shield. Minus 2 is at that range is silly. And if you whiff a move, like let's say you try and call her out for a jump and you forward air, and she doesn't, and she just stays in shield. Well, now you've got to A, land versus her, and B, she can just like run in and just shield, and then you've got to deal with that somehow. Like you've got to you got to land versus Samus, 06 Samus, who's about 2 inches away from you, and you're in the air. You've got to double jump, but that's risky because if you double jump and she catches your double jump with like a rising up air out of shield, that's a problem because then you've got to land. And if you down air as a mix up after the double jump, that's another problem because she can catch that. And then if you just normally try and land, she can just like react to that and just run forward and dash attack or do something. So it's really hard to sort of get in and hit her, um, especially with yeah everything I mentioned above. But yeah, neutral is just really struggle. It's just playing this game of just sort of like walking forward and shielding and seeing if you can find an opening somehow, some way. And then when you think you've cornered her, she can be just like, oh, I'm going to just double jump, full hop, double jump, and then I can either flip kick if I want to the other side of the stage. And you're just so slow and you just cannot catch that. Like, you just run over there and you're like, oh, I've got her. Oh, no, you haven't got her. You have not got her at all. Um, she just resets straight back to neutral where she's at an advantage. Um, Generally, it's like trying to catch flies with chopsticks. If you're not Jackie Chan. Um, Even in the reboot movie, they didn't bother. I think you hear like with like a piece of paper or something, a newspaper. So yeah, I wouldn't even bother trying to play that matchup. Obviously, the good thing about this is that you do kind of hit her. She can take a lot of damage, and she is light, so she can just die to like moves. Like she can just like die to like back air at 100, And if you catch like a rogue flip kick out of the corner, trying to get out of the corner, it's pretty much tip at up smash range, which means we will die at 70. But that's like a super hard read. Um, and and yeah, like that. Those are the only like positives I would say in the matchup. Like, yeah, she can just play super bait and punish, feint jump ins, dash in, dash outs. Her grab again is annoying because forward throw sets you up for a tech chase. But if you if you DI up and auto cancel your up air in the first few frames, you should be all right. Frame one jab is annoying, because it can combo break out of potentially down, drag down neutral air. And it's just generally good in scramble situations. Up till if you ever land on her shield and you haven't spaced anything, it can be super annoying. And like I say, once she's cornered you, that's the most annoying part because her back air will catch jumps and you will die, surprisingly early because the follow up plasma whip as she chases you off stage or the follow up Zaire can be really annoying. She juggles you with up air for quite a while. You're very susceptible to like ladders, and getting laddered. Um, yeah, there's not too many hopes in the matchup that I think means that you could probably play this at like a higher or super top level. But obviously, super top level zero suits don't exist, which is funny because super top Simons don't exist as well. Um, Again, with all matchups, it's winnable if you're better than your opponent. If the zero suit just pretends if it's intending on just being this super aggressive. I'm going to land on you with neutral airs and land on you with Zares point blank and they're bad. Then obviously the matchup is just winnable and doable. Um, but aside from that, yeah, if the ZSS just plays really slow, really campy, and just picks their moments to go in and start dealing damage to you, it's very difficult to sort of stem the bleeding and do anything. Um, so yeah, they don't even have to jump as well. That's the most annoying part because they can just keep growing grounded, um, and just dash in and dash out with their excellent movement. So yeah, again, not really much to say about that matchup specifics. Um, it's just hard. Not a lot of active frames on your moves. She contorts. She's too fast in the air. Great mobility stats. Great up dash shield. Yeah. Can't think of anything much to say. Um, Generally a choose to lose matchup. Um, but yeah. Next character is Wario. Oh goodness. Um, he's kind of like Zero Suit Samus, but just doesn't. He's not as fast on the ground. But what he trades for like ground movement, he makes up for the fact that he can go super high with bike. His combos are a lot more damaging. His ledge guarding's a little bit better. Um, and that generally he's just very, very heavy, and you can't kill him very easily. Apart from that, matchup's great. Obviously, like Waft, he's just a character that just doesn't. He picks and chooses his movements to engage, and when he does engage, he will deal a lot of damage because he'll sort of like wait for you to throw an option, wait for you to make a mistake, and then he will just wah wah up air, neutral air, up air, back air. You took 70 damage from the Wario combo that everybody can do because you misspaced your forward air versus this tiny character who's somehow full of helium and is running around doing this amount of damage, and then obviously he gets waft, which is really difficult to sort of deal with. the thing is with Waft, you're just gonna have to assume he gets it and just be happy with that. Like, you can't rush Wario down. There's nothing. There's nowhere being like, oh, I'm going to play, aggressive and like impose my will on him. He just doesn't care. He just does not care about your moves. Um, he's he's one of the characters where if you're in tip F tilt range, you're in danger of him just floating over your move and landing on you with like an up air or a chomp, and that just gives him stage control. Either way, or a butt ton of damage. So that's annoying. But yeah, neutral is you kind of want to move towards him because you kind of don't want to just let him wait for a minute 50 and get waffed. But on the other hand, you kind of can't just sit back and let him get waffed because if he gets 3 waffs a game, you're kind of going to die. But he's going to get waffed anyway, so does it really matter? Is the question. Um, but yeah, they'll mostly be looking to start with their combo starters. Landing neutral air, landing up air. They'll be in the air a lot, which isn't too bad. So you can sort of try and keep him out with your forward tilts, your forward airs, rising neutral airs to catch poor jump ins. But with his air drift, it's so insane. He can just sort of feign to jump towards you and then drift away. And if you commit to something like a rising neutral air, he's on the ground already, and he's just outside, and he can punish you. Thankfully, you can still double jump away because you are actionable after rising neutral air, so you can just sort of like potentially double jump away. But again, if you land on a platform or if you land further towards the ledge, you're cornering yourself versus Wario, and then that's a bit of a problem because then he just starts all of his combos. I will say that actually, cornering yourself versus Wario isn't actually too bad. You would think that at low percents, it isn't too bad actually, because if you have a look at all of the Wario combos, they are just literally like nair 1-2, nair 1-2, up air, up air, up air, right? And that it's a full stage combo. They take you from either right to left or left to right. But if you're at the corner, they can't get that many cycles of it. They just have to settle for neutral air 1 into a few up airs, which doesn't sound like a lot of difference, but that's like 20%, 25% difference. Um, and if they can't get access to the platform, if you're like super on the right and drift off stage, they might just have to settle for a few up airs and like a forward air. And you might take 40%, but you didn't take 70%, which means that you're in a slightly better position. And this goes for all characters, by the way. If you're ever playing Wario, and you're at starting percents, they are just looking. That's why they sort of try and corner themselves because they want to make. Well, they want you to make a mistake, and they want to have the full stage in order to just neutral air you across the stage and then start their up air shenanigans. Of course, it works better with Waft because they can just up air, they neutral air you across the stage into the up air into the Waft, and that kills. Um, I think I saw Tarek do it once. I can't remember what tournament it was at, but he was up a whole stock on Gluto, and Gluto had like 98%. It was town and city, and Tarek was sitting in the corner. He was just shurikening because he was like, if I come over there, you're going to combo me with into waft across the stage and kill me. So he was like, no, I'm not moving from this corner, and he literally just sat in the corner charging shurikens. And then I think he like dashed out of the corner to try and punish something, and Gluto just killed him anyway because he was playing on town. He just like neutral aired him, up aired him, and just full wafted him, and he died at 30 because he had 98 rage. But you could see what Tarek was going for. But yes, anyway, back to the Simon and Richter matchup. So yeah, cornering yourself's not too bad. He takes, he's got no special combo breakers, so if you do manage to start hitting combos, he can die. Bike is super annoying because he can go high with it, and then just avoid ledge traps. And then he's got that weird thing where he can just air dodge down, and it always just seems to work. I always just see Gluto spam that, and it just works. I assume that just works because it's really, really good, and it's better than everybody else's air dodge to ground. Um, but yeah, a lot of Varios will go super high on with bike. So if you've got the opportunity, you can double jump out there and forward air and potentially catch him on the startup of the bike. That can be an early stock, because his recovery is a little bit mid without waft. But yeah, as soon as they've used bike and gone high, you kind of just want to focus on trapping their landings. Um, Things like using short hop, fast fall, up air to see if you can proc the air dodge. And you'll land with no lag because your move auto cancels. And then if you did it correctly, you should be able to get a very small punish on where they land. And it's difficult to trap Wario's landings because he moves so fast in the air. Like you, ideally you'd want to like get an up smash or a holy water as a punish, but where he air dodges, he's got so much control whether he goes left or right. It can be really tricky to catch a landing, so you might just have to settle for like a forward tilt or a back air or a forward air or a cross and get him off stage. And because he hasn't got his bike, you can then just sort of run off and like neutral air. You can mess with his recovery then. Run off neutral air is not too bad versus him if he hasn't got bike. Um, I don't think it beats up B particularly, but if you can send him off stage and he has no bike, his recovery is very exploitable. Unless he's got waft and he's willing to burn waft to go like super low and hug the stage. Um, yeah, once he's grabbed ledge, it's just annoying to hit him. But he is, like I said, he's susceptible to all the setups. He's susceptible to getting hit and dying. But like I said, he's super heavy, so it's just difficult to kill him under like 120. Especially if the Wario knows what they're doing and they just avoid returning cross or just avoid getting into holy water, because yeah, you're not killing him below 130 or 120 with anything but a back air or smash attack. He's just too fast, he's too heavy, he's too small. And then, like I said, his combo game is just too good on Simon and Richter. He just does too much damage. His forward air edge guarding is annoying because he just little pokes you with his little toe. It's actually called Pigfoot. It's kind of a weird name for it, but it's kind of oddly thematic for him. Hits you with the little Pigfoot. Um, and then yeah, Chomp is annoying for corner pressure. So is F tilt and back air. Down tilt it's fine. Down tilt dash attack that kills, but again, it's not too much of a worry in the matchup because he's not really looking for that as much as he should be or as much as he could be, because he doesn't really want to be in that sort of situation, because if he down tilts your shield and he gets it wrong, that's an up B and the pressure's gone. So it's something to keep in mind that they like to go for, but yeah, it's not massively a matchup thing. Mostly it's just looking out for like how he's going to land. So yeah, up air is very safe though. I will say, do not try and up B Wario's landing up air, because it's like -2, and you will not beat that out with up B. If he's landing on you, you're gonna have to be very preemptive about it. You have to be very preemptive about it. Same thing with neutral air. You can do it, and you can punish it if you parry the second hit. But you've got to be very clinical on how you do it. But things like forward air, back air, as long as it's not spaced, down air, yeah, you can punish all of those with up B, up shield. But again, with his air drift, you just want to be making sure that if you commit, you've got to be right, because if you commit and you're wrong, you are taking so much damage, and you've just got to be aware of that. So it's kind of like a Yoshi matchup where you've just got to play more proactively If he's jumping, you swing at him. If he's jumping, you're naring, or you're like trying to catch jump ins with dash attack, or you're dashing back and F tilting, or I suppose you could try and pivot grab him if you're feeling rambunctious. But yeah, be proactive. Don't sit there and be reactive. Start doing things about his pressure before he starts, because if he starts getting this opportunity to land on you with impunity and you react to it, then it's already too late. So yeah, definitely more of a proactive matchup where you're just dealing with his options before he does them, because once he does them, it's almost too late. So yeah, and yeah, it's just one of those matchups where they're gonna try and play as bait and punishy as possible, because they know that if they get the bait, then the punish is obviously going to be really big. So yeah, not that one. So yeah, next character is Snake. Snake's an even. I felt comfortable putting him here. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one because it's almost like two zoners going at each other. But then at the end of the day, Snake kind of does have to approach. He has to actually get in to kill you, right? He has to land an up tilt, or he has to grab you, or he has to like dash attack you to get you off stage to start his ledge trapping. Just grenades on their own are not sufficient enough um, to win the matchup. Um, so yeah, he actually has to kind of brawl with you, and obviously, he's very slow. Actually, not as slow as you think. Actually, I thought Snake would be slower than Simon, given everything that he has, but no, he's actually quite a decently a lot faster, which is actually criminal. It's just kind of a game design where they made this character good. He didn't happen to be good. They made him good. Um, but yeah, his movement stats, whilst decent, kind of below average, but not fast enough to cause any problems whatsoever. Um, Despite how clunky he feels to play, he's actually faster than like a good few characters that you wouldn't think so. Um, but yeah, he has to get in somehow. He can start lobbing grenades at you, but Cross can trade with all of those, and it just explodes them if he throws them at you. Obviously, just make sure that you don't throw Cross as they are right in front of you, because that can be a problem. You will just take damage unnecessarily. Um, so yeah, you can also just Z catch nades and throw them back, and that's a problem for him because if you Z catch uncooked nades and throw them at him, he has to shield, and you get stage control. And this is another matchup where stage control is everything. If you get stage control, you can be in a position where you just can't lose it. That works for Snake as well, which is why I think it's even. Just whoever wins neutral, and I say it again for like the 19th time, neutral is the most important part of Belmont's game. You need to make sure you're winning it, because if you win it, you'll win. If you lose it, you lose. So yeah, the tools you have are pretty good actually. You've just got to figure out what type of snake you are playing. If they're a campy snake, you can start to just make sure you're throwing uncooked grenades back. Just Z catch them, throw them right back. You have stage control. Holy water can be annoying for them because it stops their approaches, and means they have to do some more setup. F tilt, again, if you tip or F tilt their shield, they can't do anything. They've got to be like, okay, now what? And most of them won't want to jump because it's quite annoying for them to jump because they aren't the fastest in the air, and that means they have to get down. I would always, always, always choose a stage with platforms. I would never take Snake to like FD or Kalos because those matchups, the platforms on Kalos don't really help that much, and the on FD there's none. So I would always choose a stage. PS2 works fine. Small Battlefield works fine. Hollow Bastion works fine. obviously be aware of C4. That's like one of the biggest things, but platforms in general, because if he starts throwing grenades at you, what you can do as Simon is, if you've had enough of it, you can just like full hop onto the platform above you and throw holy water, and then you can use that as like a smoke screen, because any grenades he throws into holy water just immediately explode. So you can be like, okay, you're just camping underneath the right platform. I'm going to full hop onto the left platform and like throw holy water, and the angle you throw it at will be like in the middle of the stage, and it'll create a barrier. Um, and the next holy water you throw, if you throw holy water from the middle, if you're on the left hand side or the right hand side platform, if you throw it in the middle and you throw it towards the opposing corner, it will detonate like right just before ledge. So if the snake's camping there and he's just like, I'm not coming out, you can be like, okay, then I will just throw holy water there. And if he has any snake grenades in hand, it will blow up and he'll take like 30 damage from holy water and his own grenades. And then you've got advantage as well. Axe also is kind of viable in neutral in this matchup. It's only viable if the snake isn't wanting to rush you down, because you can use it in the same way. You can like full hop axe onto the platform and it will hit like the right hand side or left hand side of the of battlefield or small battlefield. So that can also be, and obviously you can angle axe, so you can choose which part of the stage to cut off. And again, it does so much shield stun and shield damage, and because you have less landing lag when you land with axe when you full hop, you can just, again, you can go over there, follow up with a forward air, you win stage control, you can combine it with holy water and cross to lock everything down. So yeah, it's not a matchup Snake can win by camping. Um, if you're aware on how to play around with grenades, and if you have an idea of how to avoid them, because if you start getting hit by grenades, you can easily lose. But if you play around grenades, that's how you win the Snake matchup. Um, Once he's forced to come at you, if you start slowly cutting off his stage control and start cornering him, that's when things become really tough for him. Because if you get him in that effort tipper F tilt range, and he's got the stage no stage behind him, then he's like, what do I do? Like, most snakes will try and like dash attack, because obviously it's their burst movement. But again, F tilt, it's not, dash attack isn't safe on shield. If he crosses you up, you just turn around and up B. If he doesn't cross you up, you just grab and throw him off stage, or you can up B. Either or. Um, so yeah, definitely pick a stage with platforms, because you can always retreat to the platforms, and you can always just spend a little bit of time on the platforms. If you've got battlefield, you can jump from the side platforms to the top platform and just run around for a little bit, because Snake can't really catch people. It sounds kind of crazy, but sometimes he struggles to catch people who are slower than him. Like, if you've got a lead on Snake, and if you're like a semi-mobile character, you can just run around platforms, and it can be difficult for Snake to actually catch you or do anything. Meanwhile, all you can do is just play this paint and punish game, where it's just like, oh, you just really can't deal with me jumping from platform to platform, even though I'm like, you know, Mario, because my airspeed is too good and my ground speed is too good for you. So I just run around. Oh, I notice an opening there. I'm going to hit you, and I'm going to start extending my lead. So yeah, you've just got to play it very slow, very patiently versus Snake. If they want to rush you down, that's fine, because you've got the tools to deal with that. If they jump, then you can just forward air them. If they run at you on the ground, you can F tilt, and you should be in a position to where you can just keep them out, so they can't get grabs, they can't get down tilts, they can't get up tilts to kill you at 90. So yeah, all those shenanigans. Even if they like pick up a grenade and run towards you with it, you just F tilt them in their tracks, and then they have to shield, and then the grenade blows up and they chunk their shield, and then you just you F tilt again and it shield pokes, or they have like a skittle shield, so they have to drop shield. The one thing that is annoying about this matchup is Snake's crouch. When he goes prone under cross, and he prones under F tilt as well. So it can be annoying for him when he does that. If he does do that, you can just back away slightly. You can always just decide to bait him. Um, so yeah, that's annoying because prone down tilt is just an annoying tool to deal with. But you obviously got tools to deal with down tilt prone. You can holy water him, and he's got like You can dash attack. You can just jump away, tip a back air. Um, that does get him a little bit of stage control, but it's not much stage control. But yeah, something to be aware of is that when in neutral, he can prone, and that can be very annoying to deal with. But yeah, apart from that, neutral, just take your time. Like I said, just work your way in. And if your projectiles aren't working, you can always just sort of run in and use whip, and that's good enough in the matchup. The projectiles are there just to accentuate your whip play, not be the main focus if you don't want it to be. Grenade and shield doesn't matter because if you space your moves, you'll just blow up the grenade. If you don't space your moves, you can get blown up and you can get like back aired out of shield after. But if they like running up and shielding with grenade, you can just forward tilt them with impunity, or you can just run up and grab them, um, and throw them away for stage control. Once you have advantage, it's okay. The snake should never go low because if they ever decide to like go low and recover with Cypher, you can axe Cypher and it will just immediately kill them. Just like immediately kill them. That's just a death sentence for them. I've done it so many times to snake players where they're like, I will recover low this time. And I'm like, okay, I will axe you. And then the axe clips the cipher, breaks the cipher, and they just look despondent is the word I'm going to use. They just kind of shake their head and go, okay. So once you've done that, and once they realize that they cannot go low, that they will go high, an easy back air for kill or an easy forward air because you know they're going high because they have to go high. So if they're at like 70, 80, 90 and you hit them to the like say forward throw them and you know that they're immediately going to double jump Cypher, you can run out, double jump forward air or back air, you can steal that stock really early. So they have to be very, very careful about how they recover. They have to be really patient on it and then work their way back to the ledge. But again, if they're on this, if they grab ledge, a lot of snakes I've played like to like hold grenade for a bit, as they're recovering, and they'll do Cypher, and then they'll like air dodge, get blown up by the grenade, and then they'll like air dodge towards ledge and catch it. That's fine because you know snakes on the ledge, you just proceed to ledge trap. If he jumps, he jumps. If he neutral gets up, he neutral gets up. Right? Um, so yeah, a lot of them will use sort of like grenades to cover them. That's a popular tactic I've seen. So you hit them out, they double jump, they pull a grenade, double jump, and then they throw the grenade on stage to mess up your ledge trapping. Because if you throw cross and the grenade is there, then it'll blow you up, and they've got a chance to get back on stage. If you notice them pulling grenade and trying to do that, again, just run off from forward air, and it will kill them if they're high enough percent because they're taking the chance to make sure that they don't get on stage, they don't get ledge trapped. But the counterplay to that is that you have to spend a second pulling the grenade and then throwing it, which means you've got time to react and just run off a forward air, or a run off and down air if you have the position. But yeah, um, yeah. Anything else advantage wise, recovering wise? If they do go super high, because sometimes they will just go super high, they're just too far out into the blast zone for you to get there in time. If they do go super high, uh, it's worth noticing how they recover to ground. A lot of like snakes like to B reverse grenades or B reverse C4s, so that's something to watch out for. Don't be underneath snake because then you face the reverse link. But you can just swat him out the sky with a forward air or back air. If you space it, perfect. Because if he pulls grenade and you back air him, he just gets hit. and then he's just got to repeat the process. Don't double jump. You can just, if you notice they double jump high, you recover super high, and they're still in the cipher lag. You can also like double jump up B, and I've had it a few times where I've like clipped their big toe and they've died at like 60 because they've been kissing the blast zone, because they're only actionable after a few frames. They've got to wait for a bit for the cipher and then they're actionable. And yeah, I've caught some people where they're like, they go double jump super high, they cipher super high, and I'm on like the left battlefield platform and I double jumped and I up B'd, and literally like the last frame of my up B kissed their like big pinky, and they died at like 63%, and that was a huge stock. um but yeah, if they're gone super high, just notice what falls down. Don't be directly underneath them. As tempting as it wants to be, as it wants to be, if they decide to shift their momentum, then you're kind of at a disadvantage there. So try and focus on getting them from the side. Just remember that you can always frame trap anything they decide to do. Um, if they're landing on the ground, you can always just sort of like up angled back air, fast fall. If they air dodge, you can just do it again because they will be in landing lag, and you will have obviously auto cancelled your move, because of the way back air up air bear works. So yeah, try not to. It doesn't matter if they be reverse things, because your up angled whip is so good anyway, or even just your regular whip. You can do full hop, just normal back air and fast wall, and they should be in a position where you can just catch the air dodge lag, landing lag. So yeah, axe again. Across is also a good example of something you can catch landing is on. If they land on a platform, you can just throw cross and see what they long cross, um, or short cross, and then if they dodge anything, the cross will come back and hit them, and it can ping into an up air. Holy water can catch a snake landing on a platform into an easy up smash if they don't SDI. Um, yeah, wouldn't recommend. I mean, you can always just try and axe if they goes high, but that's kind of sort of a very laggy option that might just get beaten out. So, not entirely. But apart from that, just win neutral. If you win neutral, you always have the tools to sort of win advantage state and push it and push it and push it. Like, he's really slow in the air. Um, so he's not exactly going to get away quickly. Cypher has a few startup frames where he can't do anything, so you've always got time to jump out and hit him there. So yeah, very easy to combo him, and grenade pulls don't matter unless you like neutral air him. But apart from that, just play neutral. Um, if he runs up and shields a lot, run up and grab. Um, you can use projectiles to get around everything. Um, but yeah, kind of a decent matchup. When you're hit, by the way, it's kind of a tricky situation, because again he can trap your landings pretty well with between C4. My top tip, if he's ever in a scramble, will probably just try and mash forward tilt. Just because forward tilt's like frame 4 and really good. So yeah, you can always try and shield that. If he ever grabs you and down throws you, don't ever just keep picking like an immediate option. Take the first time Snake grabs you, my opinion, I would just wait and then neutral get up or get up attack. Just do one of the two, right? Don't do it immediately. Don't buffer it, because it's easy to hit if you just keep buffering it. Buffering an option is a mix up. Okay, and a lot of players, when they get grabbed by Snake, they do start to panic, and they immediately buffer an option, and that's where Snake wants you. So yeah, just take a while for the first time. As long as you're under like 110, 105, you shouldn't die to Snake up tilt. And you're not a big body like F. I don't think F tilt connects on us when he drops us, because we're not a big body. So you don't have to be worried about that. So yeah, if he grabs you and he down throws you, you're not going to die under 100. And obviously 160 is the magic number where he can grab you and true combo into up tilt. Probably about 158 because he just pummels 2 or 3 times and that's it. But yeah, grabs are a really good mix up for him. If probably be better to just roll into the stage rather than away from it, unless he likes hard reads out like a forward smash or something. But yeah, given the chance, rolling in is better than rolling out, unless rolling towards the center of the stage because again survivability. Nikita, my tip against Nikita would be always DI the previous move up and in. Like if forward tilts you at 100, DI up and in, and then go from there. Because you should be, if you DI up and in, you should have enough time to see what he wants to do with the Nikita and get around it. Because you can double jump and then you've not got tons of airspace, but you can always like double jump and immediately down air, and then up B to ledge, and that'll get around Nikita. Or you can like double jump, go high, and then like use neutral air or a button to sort of chase it away. You can always throw cross towards the stage if you've got enough time, and it can hit Snake, and that will obviously disable Nikita. You can, if your percents is low enough, you can just double jump onto stage. Honestly, you can just double jump, get hit, DI up and in, double jump, and then you're high enough where you can actually just make it onto stage, even with your terrible hair drift. And you can just fast forward through the Nikita, and if he commits to it. So if you get sent at like a 90-degree angle and Nikita is just going to kill you. Like there's sometimes you just can't do anything about it. Cross towards it is probably your best play, but again, giving up all of that time, you might just not be able to make it back. So yeah, top tip for anything is just the eye up and in, and then Nikita becomes less of an issue. So yeah, ledge trapping wise, again, if you've got time, you can always throw cross away from the stage, tether hang, and then just see what the situation allows you. Because yeah, you can use cross to help you get onto the stage, and then yeah, the ledge trap's pain to get around, but cross will help you, and you can also use like double jump holy water. You can if he's not right at the ledge, what you can do is you can drop. You've grabbed ledge, let go of ledge hang, double jump, holy water. It'll move like a foot onto the stage, and then you just re-grab ledge and you neutral get up or roll or jump or whatever, and that prevents him from just doing like up smash spam. So yeah, the ledge trapping can be tough, but there you have tools to get around it. So yeah, not the be all and end all in this matchup. Again, can be really tricky to get around. But yeah, tips and tricks, because I think I've mentioned everything. If you ever do get hit by up tilt, DI into Snake. Don't DI away from it. You DI into Snake. You want to DI behind him. So if he's facing left, you DI right, and you survive a lot longer. If he's facing right, you DI left. So you get sent behind him, and you DI a lot, and you survive a lot longer. Be careful of shielding on platforms, because he will always look for a C4 sticky. And that can be a problem because, well, it kind of kills you. How did Esam say that holy water was better than C4 again? Can somebody remind me? When talking about C4, just remember where it's placed. Like, always remember where it's placed. Like, you say to yourself in your head, it's placed on that platform. It's placed on that platform, and always have it in always have it in the back of your head that that's where it is. So yeah. Anything else? Not really. It's a fun matchup. I actually like playing it. I actually do well against all the snakes in the UK. I've not played Kodiak yet, who's the best snake, but yeah, I feel very comfortable in that matchup with Simon. The only thing that sort of kills us is lack of speed. If we were a bit faster, I think we would be winning. Um, but at the moment, it's just where we're so slow. That's the biggest problem. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it for the matchup. Can't think of anything else. I think I've covered all of the main things, and all of sort of the little nuances in the matchup. Um, oh, there is one more thing. I like 120%. If you if you dash grab Snake and he's got a grenade in his hand, and you pummel him, it'll explode the grenade, and you can immediately mash up B, and you should be able to kill him if you're at lower percent. Um, Yeah, this is unexplored. So if you dash grab Snake and he has grenade, he's cooking it. Your pummel will set the grenade off, and you'll both explode. And then obviously, if you're a character with a fast aerial, like you can just mash that aerial, and you can probably just combo him for a little bit more. I think I learned a string with Diddy where we were both at 0, and I ended up at like 25, and Snake ended up with like 70 damage, and I thought that was quite cool actually. It was like you run in, pummel, both explode, neutral air, forward air, triggers the second grenade, so you both blow up, and then you get like another forward air or something. I can't remember what it was actually. It was quite a while ago. And yeah, you can deal some pretty good damage. So yeah, but yeah, don't not something like massively to fish for. But if you wanted to test it, just you can test it. Like, just have the snake player cook a grenade at like 130. Set yourself to like 0. You should be able to just after the explosion, just up beat him, and he should die. Um, Although I did mine on a training room computer, so it wasn't DIing. So take it with a grain of salt. So yeah, that I think that is definitely everything on the snake matchup that I know. So yeah. Oh, thank goodness. I can actually do a winning matchup for a change. Ike. I wonder if his actual real name is Eichel. Oh dear. We win this. Is it +2? I don't think so. I mean, if he does hit you, it is scary, and it is like easier to hit us than Ganondorf and Ice Climbers and Dr. Mario. And his moves are kind of hurtful. Kind of hurtful? They hurt. Like, up air juggling is no joke. Run off forward air is kind of difficult to deal with. And like run off up B, where he like up B's you and then lands on stage. That's annoying to deal with. So yeah, when he gets a hit, he can juggle you for a while, and he can keep you in the corner for a while, and he can like kind of hit you, and his moves send far, and his kill confirm does work, like, and it just does kill at a reasonable percent. But I think that's all about the good. That's and his corner pressure is scary. I will say his corner pressure is scary, like down tilt back air, Randy dash attacks, up Bs. Um, Man, give him his old forward air back from Brawl. All that stuff crunched. Um, so yeah, Ike, not too bad. Um, yeah, I mean the problem is obviously neutral. Neutral is tough for him to do anything with because he's so slow on the ground, and so it means he has to jump, and then like obviously Ike is, he just becomes very linear. There's only so much he can mix it up. If you're good at parrying there, he kind of struggles to get anything started. He tends to rise with a fall with neutral air. Sorry, so if you see him jump, you can preemptively like run up and neutral air because he won't rise with a neutral air because that makes no sense unless he's in specific circumstances. Um, but yeah, keep him out with F tilt, catch jumps, play the old rock paper scissors, and mix up what you want to do. You can run up and shield if he jumps, and it's difficult for him to get anything started, because then he's got to like adjust really quickly, and it's difficult for him to then land. You can dash back and F tilt to catch the jump in, because he's not very fast in the air, so you can just dash back, forward tilt, and you start advantage. And then obviously, if you catch the jump in with a rising neutral air, because he won't rise with the neutral air, that can be tough as well for him. So you just play rock paper scissors of how you want to deal with the jump in, and with all of those three strategies, you should be able to convincingly find advantage state. And then it's difficult for him to get off the ledge because he's slow. Um, if he ever ethers, you should, unless he spaces it perfectly, you should just be able to like down angle forward smash that, for a kill. So he has to side B. And the thing with side B is that you've got plenty of ways to sort of like mix it. There are certain spacings where if he charges side B super high, you can throw axe, and the axe falls at the same speed he does. So if you can get the peak of the axe to line up with where Ike is falling, then the axe will literally just fall with him, and as soon as he releases side B, he's just going to crunch straight into the axe. If he decides to hold it too long, you can bother him with cross. You can go out there and challenge it with forward air, on startup. If he decides to do it on stage, you can just charge up smash, and you could just kill him. You can fully charge up smash, and you can kill him. Cross is a good deterrent from him going to ledge. Holy water obviously catches everything. Yeah, it's just really tough for him to do anything once he starts getting hit. Because he's got frame 4 air dodge, he's very slow in the air, super comboable. Rough recovery of getting it through. If he goes like, I've seen some likes try and go like, they jump immediately and try and side B high, but that doesn't work because that's super reactable. You can just up air it, and he might not die actually, depending on how low percent he is. But yeah, difficult matchup for him. So yeah, again, if you just sit and shield and wait for him, he can struggle. Because if he spaces his moves, parry up B won't work because he could just space the move to make it not work. But yeah, it's difficult, and you never have to chase him. You can just sort of wait for him to pick his option of how he's going to get down. So yeah, it's tough for him to do much. But to be fair, when he does hit you, he does hurt. It does hurt. And he can just like mess you up real bad. He's kind of like Ganondorf, but better. Because he actually has like aerials and moves that are disjointed, and he can do stuff. I don't feel confident putting it in +2 because it's not just a sleeper matchup, I don't think. But it is a very, very easy +1. And if the Ike knows what he's doing, he has got a little bit more mix. So yeah, don't really think there's much more to say about that matchup. He's kind of like the basic white girl swordy, unfortunately. Comes out with white top and blue jeans, and a pair of connies. Like, just looks like everybody else. I think that's about it. But like I said, I don't really think there's much more I can say. Just very basic character. Maybe in Smash 6. Where's Ragnar's Where's Ragnar's blade beam? Huh? Where's Ragnar's blade beam? It's canonically in the game that Ragnar can attack from 2 spaces away. I've played the Tellius series. Don't lie to me. Link gets a forward smash blade beam. I don't see why Ragnar his neutral B couldn't just be like cloud blade beam. I'm fairly sure it was going to be that before, and then they put cloud in the game, and they were like, "Nah, we just can't copy and paste everything." It's honestly, his back air should be better than Cloud's. I don't understand how it's worse than Cloud's. It kills, but it's less safe on shield. It should just be better. Poor Ike. But yeah. Pokemon Trainer. Do I put it in even or slightly losing? Put it even. The only Pokemon you're struggling with is Squirtle. The other two just don't matter. The other two suck in neutral, they suck in disadvantage. The only good thing about disadvantage is obviously Pokemon swap, and the fact that Charizard is so heavy, but he's also so big and slow in the air. Apart from that, their advantage state, they play neutral like every other character. Yeah, Squirtle is pretty much if you're playing Garrick's character and your opponent is not immediately swapping to Squirtle as soon as they're in neutral, they're throwing. Because Ivysaur just doesn't do enough in neutral. He's too slow. Razor Leaf's not good enough. And then he's just like slow and what's he gonna do? Like space a back air? Not really. What's Charizard gonna do? Like his ground speed's good, and that can be threatening. But if he gets hit, that's so bad. And the problem with Squirtle is he's light but small. So yeah, Squirtle should be your neutral go-to for this character, and you should learn how to fight Squirtle in neutral. Because that's what they should be playing. Even at kill percent, if you're at 0% and your opponent is at like 100%, they should still be on Squirtle. Because if they're on Ivysaur and they lose neutral, they might not just get a chance to play again. So Squirtle is the problem here. He's obviously very fast, very small combos, very long combo strings. Water Gun dissuades up B from out of shield, although you can still use it. So yeah, he should be sort of like dashing around, looking for ins and outs. Really, looking for grab. I mean, F tilt into grab is not true. At lower percents, you can always like spot dodge it, so don't you worry about that. And it's not as disjointed as it looks. If it's max spaced range, then you can't up B it. But if he's not max spaced, then you can up B it because the hitbox, the hurtbox, sorry, doesn't have enough time to sort of move back because he sort of like moves his whole body forward and then retreats his whole body. So he sort of like spins, doesn't he? So yeah, you should be all right with that one. If it's space, don't up B it. Otherwise, you would taking 60. Or if you're near a ledge, they can water gun you and you could just fall to your death. But apart from that, if he manages to hit you, it's not safe on hit, and it doesn't combo into grab. So don't you worry about that. But yeah, most of the time he should just be sort of dipping in and out, running around, looking for these dash up shields in order to get like a forward air up shield or like a neutral air up shield to get his combo game started. Back air isn't safe on shield, so you don't have to worry about that. Down air isn't safe on shield, so you don't have to worry about that. It's literally just like forward tilt and grab you've just got to worry about. Um, but it's really annoying because he's whiff punishy. It's kind of like Pichu, where he's like in and out, in and out, in and out. If you make one wrong move, you take a bunch of damage, and then once you're at the ledge, Ivysaur and Charizard, then they become scary. That's only you want. If you're in the corner, that's when they're scary characters because you hit them, and then they just swap to Squirtle, and you just play this dance again. But yeah, as soon as you get hit, it's a bit of a problem. Um, Ivysaur down air doesn't really come into play as much because you don't have to up B, you can always tether. But then again, neutral air can really annoy you with tethers. So if they manage to clip that, um, if you get sent too far by like a Squirtle back throw or a combo that Squirtle does, not that he's going to send you very far to be fair, maybe a down tilt. Um, what they should be doing, they can even just run off and Squirtle with Water Gun, and that's annoying. And they can swap to Ivysaur and threaten you from there. So yeah, the edge guarding on this character is good. The advantage state from Squirtle and Squirtle in neutral is good. Ivysaur and Charizard in the corner are annoying, but apart from that, if you manage to win neutral, through things like dash up shield or just play very very campy and don't let Squirtle get in, because you've got bigger hitboxes than him and you can keep Squirtle out because his air drift is good but not like super amazing. That's the thing. Like we're annoyed by characters who've got like really good air drift. But if their air drift isn't like amazing and super super good, it's not too bad when they jump. So yeah, just play super lame versus them. Keep them out with whatever attacks you can. Forward tilt. You know, you can always call out jump ins with what's it called, neutral air, and yeah, it's not too bad. It is the consensus. But yeah, it's just when you get hit, you kind of get blended for 60, 70, and then when you get hit by into the corner, it can suck because characters like Ivysaur can hit you away and edge guard you, and then Charizard, if you get hit by a back air, you might not make it back. um, so yeah, not a terrible matchup. If they run up shield a lot, you can always grab them. Dash attack isn't that great. If they withdraw, you just short hop, and then footstool it. So that isn't a worry. Water gun can be annoying in neutral because it gives them a little bit more stage to work with. But between like cross, holy water on the ground, F tilt, and then like reading jump ins with the triangle previously discussed, it can be difficult for Squirtle to get in. But once he gets in, that's the problem. If your opponent decides to choose Ivysaur in neutral, I would recommend just walk up and shield. If he Razor Leafs, just walk up and shield. If you're within range of forward air, you can down angle forward air out shield, and that will catch a Razor Leaf. And then you can start advantage from there. Again, Ivysaur, terrible at getting off the ledge. Just that's the problem with all of the Pokemon. They just can't get off ledge. So once you start advantage, you easily claw this matchup straight back. Yeah, you don't actually have to run into Ivysaur because Razor Leaf isn't as threatening as it once was. So you can sort of like take your time and shield. And if they want to commit to the grab, then you don't have to like stand there and shield. You can just spot dodge or jump away, and just play around the grab. So yeah, Ivysaur not too threatening. Again, if you get juggled by the character, that's threatening. His up airs are annoying to deal with, because the fast forward air dodge doesn't massively work well because the up air like sends him to the ground, and he might be able to attack you. And then obviously Charizard is just in neutral is just pain for him. You could just wall him out. Good ground speed, but can't really make the most of it because F tilt is really threatening. And if he jumps, then he's just combo food. Right, you just hit him, and he's just a giant punching bag, and kind of like just like Bowser but with an extra jump, and it's just much slower than the air. So slow, so slow. And then again, once he's on ledge, he just can't get off. He hasn't got any options. You just have to either like try and make a switch to Squirtle, or like randomly try and flare blitz. But none of those are appealing options. So you make your money by just ledge trapping them. They've got no good ledge options. Pokemon Switch doesn't particularly help them in disadvantage as much as you think it would, because your your combos aren't like massively frame tight. They can get out of like neutral air forward air. That's an annoying get out that they can do, but again, you're still with got so little lag that it doesn't really matter. And yeah, not much more to say about that. If the player is better than you, they'll probably win. It depends on how good their Squirtle is and how good their advantage state is. If they got really solid neutral with Squirtle and they've got really good advantage state and pressing and annoying you and edge guarding you, they can do well. But yeah, overall, kind of an even matchup. I think over time, if we had like a top rep, I think it could actually be up here. But I think for now, I think Squirtle's just too good. Is the savior of the matchup. So yeah, I haven't got really any tidbits about the information. The matchup. It's just that. Um, so yeah, Diddy Kong. Again, slight winning, but not massively too much. Just because of how good the character is, and this is the most annoying part. Like a lot of these might be like wins if your character or if Simon was a better character, right? If he had like maybe a little bit more ability or a little bit more explosiveness or a little bit more of an X factor, some of these might be up here or some of these might be up here or these might be up here. But as it is, he's just too vulnerable and he's too fragile, and his poor disadvantage really gets taken advantage of when you get to characters like Diddy, because they're kind of like more bait and punishy, and they just get a lot of damage really quickly. I mean, if you take a banana, you can take anywhere from like 40 damage, 50 damage, depending on what they want to go for combo wise, and then they still have advantage. And banana is obviously, once he has banana in his hand, it's tricky to deal with because obviously you get banana out of shield, or he can just monkey flip and mix you up, or he can just run around and just wait for you. Thankfully, the person in my region is not very patient with banana. But if he just decided to just be a little bit more patient, he'd probably win a lot more. But yeah, Diddy Kong. Um, you generally have to be a little bit more aggressive than you want to be, and then as soon as they have banana, you're back to like camping your nuts off. Really, there really isn't much more to say about the matchup other than that. Really, yeah. At the beginning of the game, I always choose this. I always try to choose the small stages, which my local Diddy has got. He's caught wind of that actually, and now he's like, I'm going to ban the small stages. So it's like, I guess we'll go PS2 because, or like Hollow. No, he bans Hollow. Um, so it's like I've got bigger stages like PS2 are available, or like I don't know, like Kalos, and I don't want to play on those because he just can run away and pluck banana, and then when he plucks banana, it's like, oh, because you haven't got the mobility to run over there and stop him plucking banana, he can just run half the length of the stage and go, oh, pluck banana. And then he's got banana in his hand, and suddenly what was a slightly winning matchup is now like an even or a slightly losing matchup. So your number one priority is be aggressive until he's got banana in his hand and stop him plucking it. And if he does have time to pluck it, like throw cross wherever the banana is, and just like hope that you can keep him away from banana. Um, because it's completely worth it for them to sacrifice a bit of stage control to pluck banana. As long as you're not a kill percent. If they can get like a down tilt back air and kill you, or like send you really far, it's worth it for them to do that. But if you're at like 50% and you're at the ledge, and they're like, they might just be like, it's worth it to have banana in my hand because the next combo I can get him to 80, and then like down tilt forward air will send him too far away, and then I can just pluck banana and I've got banana in my hand, rather than like he's at 80, I'm going to abandon the ledge and run away, which is the problem my local Diddy has. Like, if you just get me to like 80% and then like down tilt forward air me, or just like grab and throw me off stage, then you just get banana. You don't have to run half the stage to get banana. Oh, I'm going to say banana so much. Oh, I hate that move. But yes, just when they banana, you need to make sure that you're either pressuring them so that they can't press it, or if they do pluck it, you're throwing cross wherever the banana is. If they throw it onto a platform, like jump and throw cross onto the platform, and then just try and like stall him as much as you can and try and hit him away from it. The annoying thing is that if you've got banana in your hand, you can't throw holy water, which is super annoying. You can, if you trip him out of banana smash, you can get down smash because it's frame 14. I'm not entirely sure on F smash. Like 24 frames is a lot of time to wait. And the problem is if you're in that range, forward smash isn't going to be tippered. You're probably going to hit like the middle, the second or the third hitbox, which is strong but not strong enough. So down smash is normally the one you would go for. If you do get banana in your hand, it can be really annoying for him because the only thing you have to worry about is monkey flip. So you should try and get banana in your hand, and then you could just like run around and be annoying and just like cross and like. But the thing is, you lose access to F tilt, and that's the annoying part. You lose access to all of your good grounded buttons, and that's annoying. So you can try and like Z drop forward air or Z drop back air for pressure, um, and then they just have to try. But if they can probably get in with that as well. So if they touch your shield and you have banana in hand, yeah, banana out of shield, down smash, down tilt, depending on what the percents are. You can up B. I would be very surprised if you could holy water. Maybe if they're right next to you, you could holy water. But yeah, it's just the matchup revolves around banana and how good they are and how patient they are with banana. Because once they have banana in their hand, you've got to play like really perfect. The good things are that if you F tilt their shield at max range, they can't banana toss out shield. You can just immediately shield. And you can immediately shield and just react to monkey flip with up B. That's the only other thing. You can react to if you react to monkey flip and see it coming, you can just up B it, and you should win even if they decide to do the kick. So again, it's a more a matchup where you've got to be a lot more proactive instead of reactive. You want to be like doing things until they get the banana, and if they get banana in the hand, again you can safely space aerials if you even on parry if you like land a back air and parry it at max range, you can still shield, and they will close the distance. So again, you've got to like bait them to use monkey flip if they got banana hand, by like constantly running up and back and forth and shielding. And if they do go for a monkey flip, you've just got to react as quick as you can. But yeah, don't be landing on them willy nilly if they've got banana in your hand because you will just lose. Um, Again, kind of, if you had better mobility, it would be better. It would be a better matchup if you had more mobility, because like Samus does a lot better into Diddy just because like she's so much better with mobility and a few other factors. Ledge trapping wise, again, kind of struggle to get off the ledge. Monkey flip can help them, and they can barrel sometimes depending on where you are. They can and what ledge trap you're intending to set up. They can barrels into you. Um, they've done that a few times, and that's always very annoying. They can try and monkey flip and go high, but you can always catch that with up air. Sometimes they can just like ledge jump and hold backwards, um, as in towards the blast zone, and then they can decide to monkey flip. Because they can monkey flip, they can cancel that with like a peanut pop gun, and then they can cancel that with like a down air, and then they can auto cancel it. It's just very annoying. He's he's got like one or two bits of hard tech which actually help him out, and auto canceling like peanut pop gun, monkey flips or whatever is annoying. Um, but yeah, very easy to lose. Um, but it is slightly winnable. It's slightly winning. You can win the set, but it's always one of those matchups where it's very hard because you've got to play perfect. Um, because obviously Diddy's like a top 10, 15 character. It's like Peach. You have all the tools to win the game. You have all have the tools, but at the end of the day, this character just does the things that he does. And no matter how perfectly you're playing, if he gets that banana trip, he can just like mess you up kind of badly. Um, so yeah. The only other thing is if he decides to sort of like land on you with moves, they're all just upbeatable. You don't have to worry about all of his moves. If he spaces down tilt, that's a problem. Only if he spaces it though. If he doesn't space it, it's -8, so you can up B it for free. neutral air, unless he's like super landing it low. If he's landing the weak hit with attempts to combo, you can do that. Forward air, you can up B unless he like again super spaces it really low and the hitbox just like immediately jerks him into a standing position. Back air, you can't unless you parry it, but they don't tend to like to land with back air as much as they can. If it's a high back air, go for it. But yeah, again, you don't really want to be just like sitting in shield as much as you can. You want to be proactive. If they're jumping and they're moving, you want to be moving and you want to be doing something. You never just want to be like sitting in shield waiting. You always want to be meeting them and being proactive. Um, so yeah, dash attack again is really good to like sort of clear an anti-air. If they're falling and you're not sure what they're doing, you can always trap them with cross. You can always nick them with dash attack. Sorry, cross, forward air, back air. You know the drill by now. This is like the fourth hour you've listened to me drone on about anti-airing. So yeah. The only other thing I will say is that rocket barrels are kind of exploitable if you know how. Most Diddies will, if they're charging rocket barrel, they will go towards the stage first and then up because it gives them more distance. So if they're on like the left hand side of the stage, they'll charge barrels, they'll aim sharp right and then curve upwards and run off neck. And if they haven't got a jump, can just delete that. Most of them will monkey flip first though. And even if they go like super low, you might be able to like they double jump barrels. If you catch them in the start after the barrels, you can like nick them with like a neutral air and kill them then. So edge guarding is kind of worth it in this matchup. Once you've conditioned them to expect them not to do it. So yeah, definitely something you can do. But yeah, apart from that, ledge trapping is fine. Yeah, no other super notable things in the matchup that I can really think of. Bazana's transcendent, so it goes through cross and it goes through holy water. So if you throw it at the same time, it's not too bad actually, because if you cross and they banana, you get tripped and they get sent up and away because of cross, and you actually come out on top during that interaction. So, but just remember that again, more of a matchup where you're using whip and very little projectiles, unless you're in advantage or ledge trapping or anti-airing. Um, so yeah, nothing else to say. I don't think so. Um, so I will move on to the next one, which is Lucas. Yeah, uneven. Purely because of the fact that PK Thunder off stage just deletes you. That's it. That's the only reason why he's here. Because apart from that, he's kind of like a worse nest. His moves are less threatening. They're safer, but they're less threatening because he has to jump to get a lot of his stuff started. And then, like, jumping versus this character is not ideal because you're floaty, and if something goes wrong, you're now in the air. Being in the air tends to lead you to being hit away because of Whip's superior reach. And then once you've done that, you're on the ledge, and then you've just got to play the ledge mini game. But yeah, he's literally only here because you could be 100% ahead of him, and then they could do like falling neutral air, down tilt, forward tilt. You're at the ledge, and then they read a get up option, down tilt, forward tilt. Oh, PK Thunder, you're dead. Or like they grab you and they back throw you at 80, and then they just PK Thunder and you die. Obviously, with that, you will need to DI up and in to give yourself the best chance, so you can work around it. But yeah, sometimes there's just not much you can do. You're just checkmated, and that's it. Neutral wise, again, he's not the fastest on the ground, so like it's difficult for him to get anything started. Like down tilt, It's difficult for him to just like run up and down tilt as much as he wants, or like run up and grab. PK Fire is kind of like very whatever. If he wants to PK Fire camp, you can just walk and shield. And again, if you're within range, um, then you can just down angle forward air, and then start advantage. Once you hit him, it's difficult for him to get down, difficult for him to get started. Um, and then, like I said, a lot of his neutral revolves around Zaire and jumping and falling aerials. But again, you're kind of better at stuffing him out than anything. Like Zaire is just outranged by forward tilt and F forward air, so that doesn't matter. And then like landing neutral air is risky for him because it's not safe on shield, and you could just up B it for free. And then forward air is decent, and it because it's safe on shield. But again, if you're reacting to these things and letting him forward air your shield, then that's a problem. The problem is that you're not doing anything about it. You need to be over there doing things about it. If he's jumping, you need to be making sure that you're dashing away, because his airspeed's good, but you can jump back and forward air. You can, again, rising neutral air if you think he's not going to rise with it. You can dash attack to stuff him out and send him towards the ledge. There's plenty of things you can do with it. But yeah, if he does start getting all of these combos, though, it can feel very annoying because you get sort of stuck in a blender. You can get like down tilt, neutral air, and then think they can do like another down tilt neutral air loop. They can do like down tilt one or two down tilts, and then they can hit you with like the sweet spot forward air, which can be a problem when you're at a high percent. Thankfully, they don't have any grab combos, so getting grabbed just gets them stage position. And their two framing doesn't really ever come into play, because you can just tether low and just wait for it. So most of them will just choose to PK Thunder edge guard, because yeah, they just know that PK down tilt, no, sorry, down smash or like a forward tilt two frame just isn't an option of to catch your recovery. But yeah, okay. Apart from that, it's a matchup you just want to be really, really super lame at. Super lame in, wall him out, stuff him out, be proactive, mix up between dashing away and catching his landings, jump neutral airing, dash attacking, all of these things, and just make sure that he doesn't hit you. But obviously, when he does hit you, he does hit you. Like landing up air, sorry, like can combo into itself like 5 times, but then hilariously it doesn't kill. That move like never kills. It's so annoying. It's so weird. Like it feels like it should be like a Ness up air, but it's just Ness up air but worse. Um, all like 3 Lucas mains like shaking their fists at me. Charlie Metros would would hang his head in shame if he heard this. But yeah, apart from that, the character will only really kill you if you get edge guarded, which is a thing. But yeah, um, can't think of anything else in the matchup that's very pressing. Of course, once you get him cornered and once he's on the ledge and he's in the corner, difficult for him to get out, difficult for him to do anything. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, he is the fastest thing alive, as if I am to believe what the things say. But he's actually not a terrible matchup. Now, I will have a big disclaimer here that I've never fought a Sonic probably ever in my life with Simon. Maybe like once or twice on Elite Smash, and that's it. Like, apart from there are loads of Sonics in the UK, I've just never had the opportunity to fight any of them. And I'll be honest, I count my lucky stars daily that I don't have to fight this character because he's annoying. I've played a few on like Wi-Fi with like random characters just on Elite Smash, but yeah. Caveat too, I generally don't know what the counterplay to this character is. not many characters where I just am lost, but this character just seems to be one of those characters where I'm just like, I really don't know what weaknesses you have. You're kind of light, so you die kind of early, but then you've got like a frame to air dodge, and it's generally like very difficult to hit you. Like just really difficult to hit you. I feel like if I had to play Sonics, I would just like my brain would explode, like overheat. I just do not know what I would do. Um, let's start with what I do know. Um, it's not actually too bad. It's not a counterpick character, which is the first thing. And I'm fairly sure of that. I've spoken to a few Simons, a few Belmonts, and they've given me a few ideas on the matchup. Um, the good news is that you do control the ground quite well. Obviously, with Cross and Holy Water, if he wants to start spinning in the corner, you don't have to like be that close to him. You can just shut that down with a Cross, and then he either has to like stop spinning or he has to like jump, and then you can probably try and hit him from there. Um, so yeah, that's the first thing. Same thing with holy water, really. It just stops him if he's like committed to like spinning in the corner. You can just be like holy water, and they can't release it, otherwise they get hit. So you can just hit them for sitting there charging like an idiot. Um, but apart from that, most of them will be just like running around, bait and punishing. Like they're so fast on the ground. Um, and homing attack is such a good way of just sort of whiff punishing and starting advantage. And then obviously like edge guarding is really good for them. Spring is annoying. They can get out there really quickly with like forward airs. And they can go super deep because spring allows them to come back from quite a far place away. So edge guarding obviously is annoying. We are quite heavy, and coupled with the fact that they can struggle to get any of their like normal spin confirms, like what is it, like spin charge, forward air. They drag you off and down across the stage, and then they forward air you. I think it's down B. They both look the same to me, but I know it's confirmed. And then obviously, like, a lot of their damage can come from things like side B neutral air or like side B up air, up air, up air. But even at like 80%, you're not dying if you're center stage. You're not dying from like a back air. You're not probably not dying from forward smash at 80. Probably die at 100 though. But yeah, you're not in any danger of dying below 100 unless you get edge guarded or you get the spring into the spin dash into forward air, which obviously will then lead into an edge guarding situation. So yeah, if they're just content on just pressing the down B button and spinning for ages, Cross will shut that down, and then they have to jump, and then they just hold, and then you have to play the whole mix up game with homing attack. If you run out of homing attacks range though, you have a decent chance of like catching their landing, because eventually they do have to land, and catching landings with like Cross and Holy Water and like just general aerials is not too bad. If they homing attack as the mixed up, if you shield that, you just get a free punish. Up B 18%, and then they've got to land again without a jump, so that's not too bad. But yeah, generally, as long as you just look out for all of the setups at the ledge, you should be okay kill wise. Like what is it they like to do? Uh, landing neutral air, forward smash, landing forward, landing neutral air, back air also both confirms. Up smash won't kill you unless they have rage. So, I mean, rolling on is never a bad idea. Because again, if you get forward smashed at 80, 90, you should be okay. So yeah, just look out for landing neutral air when you're getting up. But again, most Sonics will try and just spring gimp you or they'll like try and run out there with forward air or a back air and hit you there. So yeah, that's why it's losing, because he can just kind of run away, and if he ever gets the lead, he can just run away. But your projectiles do a good job of like locking down certain bits of the map, so he can't run away forever. He will eventually get hit. Just if he wants to just concentrate on running away and doing the whole landing on the other side of the stage thing, or you know what Sonic's does, where you're like the opponents are like running at him and they've got no projectiles. They're like, they're byless, for example, and they run after him, and he like spin jumps to the other side of the stage, and then the byless like, and they go over there, and he does exactly the same thing. So yeah, that's not a viable strategy long term for him, because your projectiles will just start locking off parts of the map. So yeah, but apart from that, Sonic, it's kind of a hard one, because I don't know much more than that because of just generally my lack of experience. But most of the Simons and the high level Belmonts that I talked to said it's losing, but not too bad. So I will trust them on that. And I just apologise. I can't give you anything more really, because I just don't know. So yeah, I'll leave it there. What I do know though is King Dedede, because I live in England, and King Dedede is everywhere, and this matchup is big win. It's a big win, but it's easy to lose, if that makes sense. But if you know what you're doing, you should never lose it. Is how I'm going to phrase this question, because yeah, the only thing that King Dedede is really good at is ledge trapping, and we can be susceptible to his ledge trapping. But we have obviously have a few tools to get around that. Neutral is difficult for him. Disadvantage is difficult for him. Getting off the ledge is difficult for him. But on the other hand, he's like one of the heaviest characters in the game. He's like the third heaviest character in the game, tied with DK. So he's like really difficult to kill if you don't set up properly. I think there was one instance where I got Trundle to like 210%, and I forward-aired her across the stage, and she was all right, and then she just came back and won. So yeah, you can end up feeding her rage, and if you're just impatient and you try and press the character to win, and you get sloppy, you can lose. But again, you can do that against like Ganondorf or Dr. Mario or Ice Climbers. So again, that's one of those things where you can just auto lose against any character if you're sloppy or careless. But against King Dedede, it just shouldn't happen if you play right and you do it. So neutral wise, you don't have to commit to anything. They're gonna jump and try and Gordo, because what else can they do? Like, they can't approach on the ground because forward tilt just stops them, just outright. And you don't want to be chucking all these projectiles because they have inhale. So you don't have to if you start like chucking projectiles at like decent ranges, then they can just inhale. They inhale it, spit it back, and then you've got to deal with that, and they can get a bit of stage control off of that. I'll come up. You can use that as a bait, but I'll come up more about that later. But yeah, neutral. They're gonna have to jump, and they'll probably want to use Gordo. The only thing you can do about that is you just wait until they hit the Gordo button, and then you run up and forward air. And then you hit the King Dedede, you hit the Gordo, you deal them like 36 damage, and then you start advantage. Yeah, they can't approach on the ground because their disjoints aren't big enough. He's too slow on the ground. Gordo doesn't work on the ground because if you just react to it. If they Gordo on the ground, and you can cross and react to it, and then the cross will ping it into him, and you'll deal him like again 26% damage or something, and then you run up and take stage control. And from there, once you've won neutral, it should be an easy start. It should be an easy job about just keeping it. So yeah,
Neutral, just wait until they Gordo. The smart ones probably won't Gordo, but then it's just like, well, how is he getting in without Gordo? If he jumps, he's got to land, so you can just like keep pressuring space with back airs and forward airs, and you can just catch his landings. A bait you can do is you can just keep throwing cross preemptively, and then they inhale the cross, and you just shield it and parry it, and then you've still got decent frame advantage if you parry it. And then when you get to like higher percents, because you've conditioned them to throw like holy water or cross as they land, they'll instinctively inhale, and then you just charge forward smash and you hit them for it. It worked every time because you can condition them to expect you to throw a projectile to cover their landing, because you just count the jumps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, they've got to land now. So you like throw cross preemptively. They react to the cross. They inhale. You shield the inhale. You parry the cross. Sorry, that's coming back, and then you like F tilt or whatever, and then they're still in the corner. And then as the game goes on, you like I said, you get them to 80%. You get them in the same situation, and then they think you're going to cross because you want to trap their landings. But then you just you dash back slightly, you charge forward smash, because if you tip a forward smash, it's just safe on shield versus King Dedede. Versus a lot of characters actually. And then if they inhale, expecting you to cross, which you've conditioned them to do, you just get a fat forward smash, and you die at and they die at 80, and that's huge. So yeah, um, that's that really. Yeah, neutral wise, just wait for them to Gordo. If they don't Gordo and they're jumping around, just threaten the spaces that they are with uh, aerials. Um, if you parry any landing aerial, it's safe. You can up B, sorry. If they land back air and space it, it's safe. If they land neutral air like super low to the ground, it's safe. But if they land like weak neutral air and will land on top of you with it, which they will have to do because I mean you will see them coming. They're so slow. Um, you can up B that, but this isn't a matchup where you want to be just waiting in shield, because they have inhale and the command grab will just beat shield. So if they're jumping, be proactive against it. Don't wait for them to do something. Be proactive, because if they start inhaling you and mixing you up, then you can lose the matchup, because they're on top of you and they're dictating what they're doing. If they jump, you harass them. Don't let them land for free. You harass them. You look for Gordo pools. You just basically keep on top of them. You cannot let them just land for free. You cannot let them just jump around for free. You need to be threatening them. You need to be around them. And you need to be pressuring them constantly, because if they start getting Gordos off, it's difficult. It can be difficult to deal with. If they start just landing aerials for free, that can be difficult to deal with. Um, and yeah, they can start if they start getting like inhales for free, then they'll just push you towards ledge, and that's where you struggle, and that's where, like I said, you can lose the matchup here. It's not a free matchup. If you just, but you have to be on top of that. It's only free if you like know what you're doing, and then you just play appropriately. Like I said, once they're on the ledge and they're forced to grab the ledge, again, what do they do really? Like, they can neutral get up, but like again, you just forward tilt and wait. If they jump, again, you go through the cycle. You can either like dash back on their landing and hit them for it. You can run up there and hit them for it, like a spaced forward air or a spaced back air. Um, so yeah, just just make sure that when they're in the air and they're jumping, yeah, some of them might try and go over the top of you, but they'll realize quickly that's a bad idea, because if they're in the corner and they're trying to get off the ledge, and they jump as high as they can, you can just double jump up air, and they will realize that that's a bad option. That they can't do that. What I like to do when they're on the ledge the first time is I like to like show that I can reach up there. I like full hop up air or like a double jump, short hop up air a few times, and be like, You can't come past here. If you try and go above me, I will up air you. And they kind of get the idea that they can't go above you, because of your massive reach, and you can just react to them doing it because they're so slow. So they've got no real option apart from to sort of like try and mix up their landing with inhale or like Gordo toss or something, and then that's when you just pepper them. I find strategy works best on like small battlefield. It's my favorite stage in the game because you can just sit under like the not in the middle of the platform, but just slightly to the left of the middle, slightly left of the middle of the side platforms, and then you can just be like, oh, just throw aerials. If you you can't land on top of me with inhale because you will land on top of the platform. You can't go straight above me because I'll up air you. So you have to land in front of me, and in front of me is where I'm covering all of this space with my forward tilt. So yeah, tricky matchup, especially when not a tricky matchup for them. But it's very winnable for them if the Belmont doesn't know the matchup or they don't play it correctly. Like if you don't play it correctly, it can generally feel like an even matchup. But if you play it correctly and you're like very patient and you just wait for them to just eventually touch the ground, it's just so free. It's just so free. But then again, like I said, if you get hit on the ledge, you can just die. Gordo ledge trapping is difficult. You can throw cross away from the stage, of course, to help deal with Gordo. They can sometimes just run off and forward air you. That's a common tactic if they get desperate. They can run off and forward air, and that can be, you can deal with that as well. You can throw cross towards the stage in that case and mix up. So yeah, I mean it's a good matchup for us, and it's a hard matchup for them. But you've got to play it correctly. Otherwise, yeah, it won't be a fun time for them. Can't think of anything else really. Don't let them inhale axe because that will kill you. I'll deal you a lot of damage very quickly. If they inhale a Gordo that you've knocked back to them, just knock it back again. Sometimes you can be like, oh, you knock it back with forward tilt, and then they inhale it, and you just immediately throw cross, and it hits cross and pings back and hits them. So it's like no. But yeah, just as long as you're avoiding inhaling and just don't let King Dedede land on top of you with any move whatsoever, you should be all right with this matchup. So yeah. Olimar, my other main. This is winning. Poor Olimar. Like, this is a matchup that's kind of difficult for him. Just because, again, he's very slow, like, very floaty, so he kind of doesn't want to jump, but then we control the ground so well that it's just hard for him to do anything. Like, Pikmin toss gets beaten by cross, you'll just murder all the Pikmin that he decides to throw out. And then, yeah, like purple is one of his only hopes in this matchup. If he throws purple over you, that can be a way he can start advantage, because purple will cause you to flinch, and then at later percent sends you into a tumble. So yeah, a lot of the time he'll be like dash shielding because he wants to get close to you, and then try to start something. He could start throwing Pikmin at you, unless it's a white or a purple. You don't have to worry about it too much. Percent doesn't really mean anything in this matchup, because yeah, unless he's hitting you for like up smash damage, yeah, Pikmin chip damage isn't really worth minding about because you just don't want to give up neutral. It's worth it to take 20% in neutral via pick toss if you win neutral and hit him off stage. It's just worth it because you will get all of that damage back in spades. And this is a matchup where you can legit just hit Olimar and he can die because there's just not a lot he can do about it. He's slow, he's floaty, can't get down to the ground very well. If he loses his Pikmin especially, and he's off stage, there might not be a way for him to get Pikmin back, because you just cover the ground and make it so that if he neutral gets up, you just pressure him and he can't pluck any more Pikmin. And without any Pikmin, he's like a sitting duck. And if he does decide to jump, it's like, well, he's floaty. Whistle doesn't help him out if you know what you're doing versus it. And then, yeah, that's it. Like, and he's light, so he'll die. His recovery is exploitable, so he'll die. His ledge options aren't great, so he'll die. And all of his moves that kill require him to be like close to Simon and Richter, and it just makes it so that then you could just make it so that he's not close to you, because like F tilt, I mean forward smash will kill, but he has to be like right next to you, and if you shield it, you'll die. You'll take up B, sorry, for like 18 damage. Blue up throw kills at like 130, but again, you need to know and pay attention to all of the Pikmin and understand what's going on. And then the only other way he's realistically killing you is edge guarding, like run or forward air, perp toss, all of those sorts of things. But yeah, generally taking a little bit of Pikmin damage so that he's only got 2 to work with is worth it, as long as you win neutral. As long as you land that one hit, that cross or the forward tilt, that's the thing that is worth it. And that's why you never really saw DeBuzz go Olimar versus any Belmont he played at a high level. He always went like Rosa and then Min Min. I think the only time he played Dom, he looked at Olimar and was like, no. I mean, Olimar can be scary if he hits us again, but that's the same with every other character. Like he can just again legit 0 to death us if the opponent's good enough. But we have the tools to stop him from doing that. Like, but he shouldn't be doing that 3 stocks every game, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. But yeah, just take it nice and slow, take it nice and steady. If a purple Pikmin lands at your feet and it doesn't hit it, kill it. Like, just holy water it and it'll die. You want to kill purples on sight. Reds aren't that too. I mean, you should be going Richter in this matchup just because the aura hurts the red Pikmin, but I mean, it's such a small difference. It doesn't really matter if you play Simon at all. Just as long as you know what all the Pikmin do, you should be fine. And just as long as you know that if you don't get up smashed, you're fine. You can up B up smash unless it's like the furthest yellow hitbox. But yeah, none of his aerials are safe unless he spaces them. If he spaces them, they're safe. And again, especially if they're yellows. But yeah, if you want to get Pikmin off of you, it's neutral air that you want, or you can decide to like, what's it called? Shield wiggle. So you hold shield, hold the B button, or hold 2 shield buttons, and then you rotate the control stick, and that will get Pikmin off quickly as well. But yeah, normally it's just neutral air that gets them off. But again, apart from white, again, it's just not worth ticking them off unless you're like super worried about dying in the next interaction. Just focus on hitting Olimar. Focus on hitting Olimar. Once you hit Olimar, you ping him off stage. He's doomed. Whistle can save him from like neutral air, forward air. But where you fall so fast, you can still have time to get a follow up after. Like not a guaranteed follow up, but like he'll still be falling and you will have touched the ground, and so he'll be like 2 Olimars off the ground, and then you will be actionable, so you can like trap his landing with neutral holy water. You can dash attack, or you can like, if you think he's going to be aggressive, you can just like jump back forward air and get him off stage again. So yeah, kind of a bad matchup for Olimar, because once he gets on the ledge, he's just got no options to get off. Roll just gets smothered. Neutral get up is what he probably wants to do, because he wants to get pluck Pikmin, because he probably will have lost some during the transition to off stage. And if he can't pluck Pikmin, that's a problem for him. If he starts jumping around and like throwing Pikmin, which he shouldn't do, he should be more grounded. But yeah, if he jumps and throws Pikmin, that's kind of spell the end for him, because if you can just react to that with long cross, and then he's somehow, if he gets hit by the cross, that's bad. And if he jumps to like a platform, that's bad as well, because now he's on a platform and you can start pressuring him with like long disjointed aerials. There's just nothing you could do. It's difficult. If the Olimar hits you, he needs to zero to death you, otherwise to stay up, or he needs to be like had a long advantage state, or an edge guard to keep up with just the damage that you do and the stage control that you hold. I would also recommend short stages again, to not let him run away and throw Pikmin. But yeah, generally kind of a difficult matchup for Olimar. Kind of a nice one for us. It's good to have like a high tier that we can kind of beat super, not like super well, but it's kind of good for us. Although Olimar has just kind of fallen off, and that's not here, that's here, not here, nor there. I hate playing this matchup the other way around. I hate playing Olimar Simon. I've played it a few times, and it just does seem like pain. I'm just like, he's just forward tilting my shield, and I can't do anything. Like if I dash left, to like escape the pressure, then I've lost stage control. If I jump in, then I've jumped, and that's difficult to sort of deal with. And if I dash in or jump in and try and pick toss, then again I just run the problem of like my shield will get low or I've jumped in. So yeah, as long as you don't let Olimar overwhelm you, which kind of difficult for him to do in this matchup, you should absolutely be fine. And it should be just a net W for you. So yeah. All right, guys. 4 characters left. We can do this. We can do this. And we start the last 4 with Lucario. Even. Again, this is not a match I have too much experience with. But with our janky kill power, you can kind of see how it goes, really. Kill him early with a setup, he doesn't get aura, and it's winning. If you let it drag to like 180, then he gets aura, it's losing. So eventually it evens out about here. I even think it might be losing, but I don't think this matchup has ever been played at anything higher than like a mid-level. And the UK doesn't have any Lucarios, so it is whatever, right? Starts off being an easy matchup because obviously his moves do like no damage whatsoever and he can't kill. Meanwhile, your moves and combos do a lot of damage, and you just get to kill percents very easy. But the true test after then is how well can you finish your plate, because if you can kill him at around 100, 110 consistently with like a back air or a setup, you're golden, because then he just starts the next stock as a Wimpy. But yeah, obviously if it snowballs, which can happen, if it snowballs, then it's difficult because you'll just die to every move under the sun, and you'll just be sent so far that you just can't recover, or you'll just outright die. Um, so yeah, neutral will mostly be Lucario, sort of like running around, dash shielding, just kind of get close. Once he gets a bit of aura, neutral air becomes like plus on block and like plus 0 on block. So that's like the biggest bait ever. You need to know that Lucario's neutral air is not only a good combo starter, but it's like safe on shield. It's like actually plus 0. Once he gets a bit of decent aura, so you need to note you need to note that. But obviously at higher percents, at lower percents, sorry, it's I'm pretty sure it's even safe on shield before he comes on there. I don't know. I don't know much about Lucario. And then obviously like back air is super safe, if spaced. So yeah. Just making sure that if again, he's not dictating the pace. He's just sort of running around and doing everything. Because if you let him just do things, he'll win. You need to be a bit more proactive and stop him from doing things. So yeah, neutral will just generally be just you doing your normal things. Aura Sphere isn't threatening at lower percents, so it's not really much of a factor. You can just mostly just shield it, or if you get hit, you're taking like 14 damage, and that's about it. His edge guarding isn't massively great. The only thing he's got is sort of like a higher percent he can run off Nair, which becomes big, or run off Aura Sphere, which is massive. Or sometimes you can use like the charging hitbox of um, Aura Sphere to Gimp. But I've never seen that happen, so it could happen could be anything really. Back air really isn't much of an edge guarding tool, but mostly it's going to be Nair. So yeah, neutral, just stopping him from getting in. He's going to want to land things like neutral air for combos or down tilts for things, but again, it's difficult for him to get anything started on the ground because of just how we're positioned and how we're set up. His down tilt is safe on shield if he spaces it, and he will just sort of combo you for days. What at lower aura, things like up throw, forward air, forward air, forward air, that sort of thing. But you'll take like 20 damage from that. 20 damage from that, so it's not too bad. You just have to play a lot more careful at higher percents, because that's when all of his stuff starts to get scary, and you can't just camp him at higher percents because then he'll start charging aura spheres, and they hurt. And things like max range force palm will start being annoying to deal with, and like I said, neutral air will start comboing and being super plus on block. So that's when the ball's really in his court. One thing to note is that his down B double team scales with aura and his percent, not your move. So like if you jab him and he's at 150%, you will explode, and you will die just as well as if you forward smashed him at 150. You'll die exactly the same. So, and this is relevant to Holy Water and Cross and Axe, because if you're ledge trapping him and he decides to double team and you get hit, you're probably dying at like 90, depending on stocks and aura. So yeah, if you can kill him early, if you're at like 80 and you have a chance to like smash attack him or like get a setup, go for it. Like absolutely go for it. It doesn't matter how much damage you take as the punish. The risk reward is totally worth it to kill him at 80, even if you take like 40 damage for missing. Just do it. Like I said, at higher percents, he just becomes a lot scarier, and he can snowball really really hard. But the thing is, you can also snowball on him. So again, I don't really have too much to say about this matchup. Try and kill him early. And if you don't kill him early, try and keep him in the corner. He's very fast, is what I will say. He's kind of light, which is good for us because back air will start killing at like early 100%. Yeah, the yeah, his movement is crazy. Things like B reverses and wave bounces and double team help him. And once he becomes a lot stronger, his aura gets a lot stronger and crazier. So yeah, just watch out for all of that. Kill him early if you can. Don't be faked out by Nair, because that move is safe on shield. The only other thing that doesn't really apply, but if he extreme speeds onto the stage and like he bounces onto the stage and like lands in front of you, that is what we call a bait. And if you try and punish it, you will get punished for it. But yeah, generally we'll just the matchup will go on how well able to avoid his kill setups, his aura spheres, his back airs. But I don't know the matchup well enough outside of that to make a judgment on that. So yeah, I think I'll leave that there. So yeah, R.O.B. Oh, R.O.B. Slightly losing. Kind of bad for us. I mean, what else do you expect from like a combo swordy, zoner, brawler, boxer, like heavyweight, really? Everything we kind of hate in the matchup. But he just lacks a small frame. And that's about it, really. And he's not the fastest in the world. But you know, you've got so many positives. You know, laser's transcendent. So if they decide to laser when you cross, you're coming off worse. Gyro is annoying at ledge, and just in general. It's always got the X factor of 0 to deaths. Edge guarding is so easy with R.O.B. Down tilt, war crime. Juggling is just really difficult to deal with. But the only things in our matchup in our favor is that he's big. Hey. And he can struggle to sort of get off the ledge and out of the corner. But aside from those two minuscule flaws, losing, right? Yeah, Jezzo. I think I made a matchup chart like last year, and Jezzo was like only -1. I was like, yeah, it's only -1. It's not -2. Obviously Jezzo is just better than me. You know, he was better than me a year ago, so him winning most of our sets wasn't a shocker. So yeah, I don't struggle with most other R.O.Bs though. You know, the matchup is obviously tricky no matter what. But yeah, like neutral wise, depends. You can either play it like really campy, really defensive, and wait for him to get in, or you can be a bit more aggressive and go to him. Both are valid. Both are valid. What the important part is when you win neutral, you press. You press and press and press, and just don't and smother him and don't let him breathe. Obviously they'll be trying to look for like lasers and gyros in neutral, but those aren't too bad if you just parry them. Neutral air is annoying to deal with because it's just even on parry it's safe. You just need to look at how they space it, because if they space it and you up B, you can whiff. Even on parry, you can just be like, nah. And you can't even get things like forward air out of parry. You just have to like take stage positioning, and just reposition yourself so that you can be in a better position for when he tries again. Down tilt is bad, but if you down tilts once, that's safe. If you down tilts twice, you can up B that, because the down tilt will be slightly stale on shield. It'll be -6, and that's exactly the number of frames you need to up B. But then again, they've got down tilt and they can just immediately shield. So although it feels like you can up B the second one, it all depends on how smart the R.O.B player is. If they just keep down tilting, you can just keep up being. But if they down tilt and immediately shield, you're going to get punished and you're going to have a bad time. So yeah, that down tilt is doable with this character, but if you're never sure on the second one, you can always just like jump away or roll away, or if you've got really big balls, you can grab. But there's counterplay to whatever you can do, and there's counterplay to whatever he can do. So it's generally just like a rock paper scissors of who's going to outplay the other player. But yeah, most of the time they're looking for like landing neutral airs or a gyro toss or a laser to sort of get you out of the way. Run up down tilt, run up neutral air, and then bait you, depending on how they space it. So yeah, you've just got to keep all of that in your mind, Because they're the only things they're gonna look for in neutral. If you miss space and move, they might like try and forward air you out of shield for a little bit of damage. But yeah, with neutral air, you can always try and challenge it. You can always try and run under an up tilt, but if they short hop it, there's not much you can do. If they short hop and space away, fade it away, you can punish that if you're ready for it. But if they short hop neutral air forwards on your shield and space it really well, that's unpunishable, and you just have to hold the L and outplay. That's the thing that makes this matchup annoying. That not a lot of his stuff is punishable directly. You've just got to sort of wait and see how they play the matchup and how they want to do all of these things. So yeah, 0 to death. If you don't know, if they've got the gyro in their hand, you can listen for the jump gyro drop, and then you can easy parry it every time, and then you can punish that with up B. Or you can even just nair it out of shield if you wanted to. So yeah, it goes like Z drop nair, and then if you just time the parry every time, you just listen for the Z drop noise, and then you know the nair's coming next, and you just parry it, and you can get the punish on him. So that's kind of easy. But of course, it's kind of like risk reward, isn't it? He'll eventually catch you off guard. Even it happens to the best players. I think I saw like Louis Money the other week get Z drop Ned, and then he died. So it kind of happens. Once they win neutral, it's just difficult to get them off you. They've got quite a lot of options on where they go next. They can forward air you, they can juggle you with up tilt and up airs, because that move will just beat out down air. And their juggling's really good. Their down tilt is really good at adding on pressure, like I discussed earlier. The back air in the corner will kill you, and if it doesn't kill you, they can just snipe you with either laser or gyro or both, and then just run out there and finish the job. Side B will just sort of beat ledge hang, not ledge hang, tether hang, and at some angles it can just beat tether swing. So yeah, be very careful on that. If you are off stage, sometimes there's just not much you can do. The R.O.B mashing mini game on down throw is always fun. Just mix up your mash timings. As soon as he grabs you, that's when you need to start like mashing as fast as you can. If you're lucky, you can get out. If you're not lucky, you just have to eat the up air. You are very, like I said, you are heavy, so you can survive for quite a while if you DI correctly, but you're still getting juggled. The rule with R.O.B is just don't get hit in the corner. So again, stage control very, very, very important. But yeah, apart from that, gyro hawking, if they can do it, that's also another part of the matchup that's annoying, because what they can do is they can jump with you with gyro in hand, and if you think they're going to up B, if you think they're going to land on you with like a nair or something, they press down B, put the gyro away, and they grab you. Which is why it's important to be proactive in this matchup. If they're jumping, you need to do something about it. If they land the neutral air, it's too late. You need to be doing something about it. You need to press them, and you need to be a little bit more on the aggressive side, which is where I think I've been going wrong with this matchup. Because you can't win the long range game because laser's transcendent and gyro's too annoying. So yeah, if you can jump over gyro, that's quite nice. That's quite good. Or if you can just land on it with an aerial and just Z catch it, that's pretty nice. If you're on the ledge and they have gyro at ledge, because a lot of R.O.Bs do that, don't they? They're like face the gyro away, they place it on ledge, and if you just hold ledge hang, it just beats with the hitbox. You can double jump up, double jump foot, drop from ledge, double jump forward air, and you'll catch the gyro and come on with a hitbox. But again, that's very risky, but it's something you can do, And then I think you can also like jump and Z catch it as you go onto the stage. But again, if it gets red, that's very punishable. But at least you didn't die to the gyro or to the up smash that they were waiting for, because you know they do. They wait for those things. They they wait for you. They're at roll distance. They're rubbing their hands, don't they? You can actually see them rubbing their hands. They're like, but no, yeah, it's kind of a hard matchup. Once you hiss Rob, the best course of action is them to kind of go high, because they can go high and just sort of scoot over the ledge traps, but you have the range to sort of deal with that. So if you see them going high, you can just sort of run over there and challenge them and try and whip them. The same thing as if they like grab ledge and then jump back, jump backwards towards the blast zone and just use the up B, just harass them, annoy them, try and hit them, because they can only really go up very quickly. They don't go side to side very quickly. So like run over there, smack them, make them run out of fuel, and then you might be able to get a kill on them. But generally, killing Rob is very difficult because he's kind of heavy, and he can last for a long time. And then you just give him rage. So yeah, I think that's most of the important things in the matchup. Again, F tilt is safe pressure, so you can do what we want with that. Again, if he has gyro in hand and you F tilt, you can always just shield, or if you time it correctly, you can catch the gyro with another forward tilt. But again, you can't use holy water when you've got gyro in hand. It is a good out shield option though. You can toss it forward, or you can like Z catch it, Z drop it. Sorry, and if it goes to, and it will go the way you dropped it, the way you were facing. So you can like Z drop it out shield, and then they'll fall into it. They'll get hit, and then you, depending on percents, you can like holy water, or you can just F smash, and that's a guaranteed kill. But yeah, very difficult matchup. Um, Not -2. You don't need a counter pick, but you like need to be better than your opponent, or at least understand the matchup more, and play it in a certain way. So yeah, that's Rob. Last penultimate one, Toon Link. I think Toon Link is winning. There we are. Yeah, I think Toon Link's winning. I think it's kind of easy to win this matchup. Again, it's easy to lose because you're Simon and you can die. But apart from that, yeah, I think it's kind of a decent matchup. He kind of relies on bomb setups to do most of his killing with it, and you can kind of snuff that out with crosses and holy waters of your own. I think you have an easier time racking up damage and killing him and keeping him trapped at ledge than the other way around. Obviously, he is dangerous and he is fast, but he lacks any good anti-airs, lacks good air-to-airs, struggles to deal with our range effectively, because his projectiles don't compensate for that. And our burst options can really burst him down if we get it correctly. And then if you just avoid updraft percent, you should be sitting golden. Again, not an easy, not the easiest matchup ever. You can lose it. You can lose every one of these, but you have the tools to be winning this consistently, and you have the tools to be doing well. So yeah, neutral wise, lots of arrow from them, lots of like boomerangs. You can easily just run up and shield them. Take stage control. That's the most important thing about this matchup. Again, is stage control. You can sort of run up and shield. They get annoyed and they like, they get annoyed and they try and grab. That's risky for them because they don't get a lot of grab. They don't have any true combos into grab. So it's difficult for them to sort of like, and if they whiff the grab, that's a big punish for them. as a very big punish for them. So so yeah, it's difficult for them. It's difficult for them to deal with our pressure. F tilt. So yeah, we can dash attack through arrows and boomerang. So we can delete them, and if we catch them in the start of it, we can burst through it and get a what's it called, punish. If they want to run up and be more sword playing, then they've got to deal with F tilt and cross, and that's annoying for them because F tilt will just stop them dead in their tracks. And we've pretty much got frame advantage from whenever we're minus like 7 on shield, at max spaced, so, and they can't do anything about that. They can try and run up at us again, but you can like F tilt again, or you can like run up and grab if you think they're going to shield, or you can jump backwards and back air or forward air, all of the good stuff. And if they ever decide to jump, that's just a mistake because they suck at getting down, and we're excellent at trapping landings. Ironically, like they are actually. So yeah, neutral just becomes this cluster mine of projectiles and swords. If they do hit like something like a space down tilt or a space forward tilt, that's safe on shield because you can't just up B it because it's obviously spaced. And then down tilt will probably set up into like tech chases. So make sure you're like either DIing up at more mid percents or just teching as you can at later percents. But again, run up down tilt is kind of risky for them for obviously the reasons. You can use boomerang cross behind you, and then just shield all their projectiles and jump over cross, and it will force them to shield if they're just playing it super slow. At certain spacings, like boomerang and arrow on shield, if you parry them or just shield them, you can just down angle forward there out and out shield, and then they're at the ledge. So that's another way you can sort of win. And the only other thing they can really fish for is sort of like run up grab, which you've got to be mindful of. Because although it doesn't net reward as in combos, it does give them what's it called? It does give them stage control. But yeah, everything else, space jab is decent, but non-spaced isn't. Up tilt, not safe on shield. You can just up B that as and when you want. Dash attack, not safe on shield. You can do that. That's another good bursting option from them. Up B up shield just really isn't a factor. They've got decent juggling with up air, but the problem is if you just fast fall air dodge, you go straight through them because they're like super floaty. And again, if your forward air and back air are safe if they space it, but apart from that, you shouldn't be letting them just like landing on you with that willy nilly anyway. You should be trying to anti-air them or just keep them out. Zaire is annoying though. I will say that Zaire is very annoying, because it again sets up into tech chase. But again, if you see if you see Toon Link jump, you should be feeling like, okay, you've jumped. I'm going to either like rising near you or like challenge you with a short hop back air or a short hop forward air, or like I'm going to try and attempt to keep you from doing anything. So yeah, that's that really. Kill wise, obviously they're just looking for bomb into forward air, bomb up air. Their updraft percent is 106 to 122%, with the back hit extending it to 126. So it's kind of a generous window, but as soon as you hit those magical percents, and obviously with rage it goes down a little bit. Doesn't actually say on the graph. Oh, no, it comes up to about 12, 18 to 2% earlier based on what level of rage they are. So like 2 to 3% at 50%, 7 to 11% earlier on 100% rage, and 12 to 18% on 150 rage. But they should never live to our 150 rage, but you never know. So yeah, about 100%. They're looking for updraft, which is up tilt up air. So be very mindful of that, because some of them are some higher Toon Links are kind of like bots. They they see you in the updraft percent, and they're like, they don't know the updraft percent, and then they will just run up and up tilt you, and you're just like, I'm just gonna shield, because if you up tilt me, I'm gonna punish you, and if you grab me, you send me off stage, but your edge guarding isn't that amazing. You can use like bomb into forward air if they get like really lucky, but or they can try and charge arrow to stuff us out. But yeah, avoid updraft given the percents before, and then just bomb. As soon as you're at like 90%, 100%, you can sort of just start running up and shielding and being really annoying. And then they can struggle to beat shield, and then you can just recourse from out of shield with up B, forward air, back air, those sorts of things. And then once you've got advantage and once you've ledge trapping them, it's really difficult for them to land. It's really difficult for them to get off the ledge. It can be really difficult for them to land because they're really floaty, and you've got quite a lot of time to position where you want to be and put your hitboxes where they need to be and your projectiles. So just like everything really. I think the only thing that saves this matchup for Toon Link is that he's like really quick on the ground. But I think anything else, I might put it in slight winning. I don't know. I feel like the only Toon Link I've played recently is Spritzy, but I only got a single game. I was dog tired. I think I can't remember if I SD'd get a stat. I think I just lost my first stock at like 40, and then I took it 2 stocks back. I almost won actually. I clawed it back. I remembered how to play the matchup. But yeah, I was dog tired. I had to sweat through 3 PR players in a row to get to him, and then he started picking like Lucas shenanigans, and then I was like, oh, and then I have to play Toon Link Alf, and I was kind of like, I was so tired. I did not actually sleep after that front runners. I did not sleep. I was awake for like 36 hours in the end. I died that night. But yeah, I just haven't played any Toon Links recently. But I think from what I remember, from what I've been discussing, yeah, it's kind of good for Simon. And then the last one, Wolf O'Donnell. Yeah, I'll put an even. He's it's weird because he's the easiest spacey to fight. Just because he's got the less, he's not as polarizing as the other two. He's more well-rounded, which makes him easier to sort of deal with. But apart from that, he's Wolf. He's a high tier / low top tier, just whatever you want to put him. So he's a good character. But he's just very exploitable in disadvantage. He hasn't got the speed of Fox, so you're not too worried about him like instantly bursting you down and just like actually just killing you from nothing. But then again, he hasn't got the crushing counterplay, the crushing combo game of Falco. So you're not taking like 60-70% in one go, and then you're worried about dying and edge guarding. So he's kind of in between where he's got better mobility, but his combos are worse. But he's still overall a good character, so you can't just sleep on him because he's got broken things. So, well, not broken things, really good things. Would I call back air broken? Oh, I don't know. I don't care. Neutral wise, yeah, he's quite fast on the ground, quite fast in the air as well. So his like burst range is pretty good. So you can't just be like willy nilly throwing out cross, because if he jumps over cross at longer ranges than you'd think, you're eating a landing forward air, which is obviously really good from him. And he can get a lot of damage off that. Reflector doesn't really mind too much. It's not something in the matchup that you're worried about. It is just there. It's kind of like Fox's one where he doesn't really use it that much. It's not integral to his integral to his gameplay, whereas his Falco's is a little bit more because it's just an instant frame one reflector, and it fires out in front of him as well, so it's a hitbox. Laser, laser's not too bad to deal with, just because it's transcendent. So if you know the wolf's gonna laser, immediately throw cross. Like, don't, if you do it at the same time, you'll get hit by the laser and you'll flinch a little bit, and then he'll be stuck in end lag and he'll get hit by the cross and he'll get knocked away. So yeah, if you're on like opposite sides of the platform, of the stage, sorry, and you think he's gonna laser, you can throw cross at the same time, and you'll get hit by it for like whatever percent it is. He gets hit, and then he gets knocked away, and you get all that stage control, and he's got to land. So it's kind of a really good deal for you. Um, Generally, the matchup is kind of even because it's again whoever wins neutral kind of just bullies the opponent into submission. He's obviously got like back air, which will just make America great again and kill you at 70. And even if he doesn't kill you at 70, he can just kind of just easily run off in there, hit them with them twinkle toes. So yeah, he doesn't actually have to kill you to kill you. I mean, even with his limited edge guarding, like run off neutral air is good enough to sort of like stop you. So yeah, same with down smash. If you get hit by down smash, the strong hit at 60, again same problem. Whereas like you won't die from the move, but he can just he's got enough time because of the angle it sends you to sort of run off and hit you in your only blind spot. But apart from those two moves, you're not worried about dying sub 100 from anything else apart from forward smash, perhaps. Um, so yeah, neutral is him going to be a lot of figuring out how you want to play and then playing around it, and then you just have to counterplay. If he likes to run a lot and dash attack, you deal with that with forward tilting and shielding and up being. If he likes to jump over and land with forward airs or neutral airs, you can either like challenge him on the way up with a whip attack or a neutral air. If he likes to, or you can like dash away and F tilt and catch his landing, or you can like run in and shield and see what he wants to do there. So you've got the rock paper scissors of like he's gonna fall with an aerial. What do I want to do? How am I gonna mix it up? Because if you keep doing the same one, they'll adapt and then come up with a new strategy. So yeah, just keep mixing it up. Again, just make sure that if his moves are spaced, you don't just up B them willy nilly. Things like forward tilt are punishable by up B, but if he spaces it, then it's not. So just be careful on that. Same thing with like back air. Just be careful that back air auto cancels from a short hop. So if he's back airing towards you, you might be tempted to go and hit you if if you're cornered, but just be very careful because it's like a bait, because they can just do whatever they want to do after, and they just don't care. But yeah, there's nothing really much to say about this matchup. It's kind of like the Roy matchup where it's just sort of like he's fast, he hits you, but if you hit him, it's edge guarding again is not too bad in this matchup if you can do it. If you've got the angles, you can absolutely just run off a neutral air, or if he has to side B, you can like forward smash the ledge and hit him potentially two frame him, or if he's sent too far by like a forward tilt, you can like run off and forward air him or neutral air him into the blast zone. So yeah, edge guarding again is in this matchup at higher percents is very viable. Don't not do it. Just because you're scared. The potential is there. There's a lot of characters out there you can go and edge guard. Not with impunity, but it becomes a good idea, and that's him. So yeah, just play it like you would play the Roy matchup minus the sword. He's fast. He kills at lower percents. But if you can avoid down smash and back air, you should be okay for killing for quite a while. Make sure you're dealing with his landing aerials. Make sure you're being proactive when he's jumping at you and you're not just sitting there in shield waiting for him, because grabs will be an issue. But yeah, it's just one of those matchups where if you win neutral and you play better than your opponent, you'll win. But if your opponent plays better than you and exploits your weaknesses, they can win. But I wouldn't put it in winning. I wouldn't put it in losing. It's just whoever plays the better will win. So yeah, I think I want to wrap up there. I've been talking for a long time. Don't think there's anything I really want to add to anybody at the moment. I'm happy with all the places. So yeah, until next time, thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.